mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
And welcome into the Friday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. Hope everybody's having a good week to this point and looking forward to the weekend. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great. How are you?
We are wonderful. Mahogany back at it this morning on the program with Joe Rexrode. Michelle Knezovic, good morning. How are you?
Guys, I'm doing really good. We need to give a little morning shout out. Today is the big move day to New Orleans for one of our favorite characters on the show, Ryan in Chicago.
Yes.
So big drive after the show today. Well, after the next show after this. So.
Some thrilling scenery through the state of Mississippi as well. I've made that drive before. It's a fun time, Joe Rexrode.
Oh, yeah. Thrilling
I've done
drive.
it as well. Did it last year. Actually, I kind of like that drive. So do we call him Ryan in New Orleans instead of Ryan from Chicago now?
We might have to. A name change could be in order.
Green Wave. Just call him Green Wave.
Green Wave. Yes. Shout out to the mighty two-lane Green Wave, Joe Rexrode.
Oh, yeah, baby. Love it. Love it. The Gart, man, I tell you what a city. What a great city.
So pray for me while I move in the humid state of Louisiana.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
you might want to move there in January.
I might have a rant coming on Monday, just something that happened during moving.
Imagine it's going to be a little muggy out there would be my guess. Got a lot to get to on the program here today. Well, Jared Stillman coming up at 7 o'clock. And I tell you, man, Joe, you and Jared have made people mad. Good gracious, have you made people mad? Mainly him, but you and Jared both made people mad.
Okay, so I think I think I kind of know what you're talking about. Okay, who we got? Oh, there's some more on Twitter. So someone tweeted this, and I, like I said, I'm trying to spend less time on Twitter, but this tweet, and I honestly don't know who they're talking about. It said, Smashville's finest at 501 Broadway. At Joe Rexrode and at Jared Stillman hold the opinion they don't care about whether the Admirals win in the playoffs or not. Let me just throw something in. Yeah, duh. And then back to the tweet. Want to know the difference between the two ways they've approached the topic? One is using it as a way to ridicule local media members. The other is not. And I kind of did. So is he talking about me or is he talking about Jared?
I think he was talking about Jared.
Okay.
Wait,
well,
what did Jared say? Because I missed that.
Oh, Jared made people mad yesterday. I mean, he basically talked about the same thing that Joe did in his rant yesterday. Now, he did say, and this is what I think has made people very mad, like, if you are concerned about the results of Milwaukee and the games itself, you need to, quote, get a life. And I think that has upset some people yesterday.
Okay, now I'm seeing this tweet. Okay, so this is Jeff Middleton. The quote, if you're excited about watching the Milwaukee Admirals, unless you're watching the big prospects, you got to get a life. That's a Jared. He called out his colleague. So who did he call? I call out Nick.
Keezer, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Keezer's under fire yesterday.
This week. I tell you what.
Keezer's handled it like a pro, though.
But again,
the pro that he is.
I got it. Yeah, well, absolutely. You know, I got to say, I mean, I pretty much did the same thing.
I know.
Right? So I think sometimes people are maybe they're being a little bit hard on Jared, maybe not hard enough on me. I don't know.
Well, let's direct some of it your way. Take some of that anger towards Jared and direct it your way. A lot of people upset about Jared yesterday. I did get into it with, a couple people around here of just like for people who apparently don't listen to him or think he's a clown, all that stuff. Look, believe me, we've talked about Jared before on the show. He says some stupid stuff sometimes. Believe me, we know. But there's a whole lot of talking about him that goes on Twitter for people who apparently want nothing to do with him. They talk about him a lot. I'm just saying.
Martell's got an issue, man. He needs to calm down. Well, I don't know when that last total outburst was from him, but man, maybe we need to put Jared Stillman and Chris Martell in a room together.
Maybe
so. Let them work it out, hash it out.
Gets intense out there. What, Jared? Coming up at 7 o'clock on the program. TD at 8 o'clock, talking all things Tennessee Titans. So looking forward to that. Some playoff action last night, Joe Rexrode. The Nuggets take down the Lakers in Game 2 last night, and it looked for a while like L.A. was going to win the game. and then Denver storms back and they win 108-103. So the Nuggets up 2-0 in that series, and now the Lakers have their work cut out for them, going back home down 2 to the Denver Nuggets.
Something like last night happens, and I'm like, why am I so bad at weekend winners? I mean, to me, that game was, it was Jamal Murray going crazy for sure. Okay. I mean, he hit like 5 straight. He went nuts.
He did.
Another Kentucky guy just going crazy in the postseason.
Cal coaching him up when he's there.
Also, I'm pretty sure I saw LeBron's legs give out in the fourth quarter and him not be able to hit a single jump shot or even a reverse layup, that if he makes that, they cut it to 2 late. Kind of feel like maybe, that game 1, having to go all the way to the end, probably maybe caught up with him a little bit.
Well, he also missed a dunk in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Went out of bounds.
I mean, he just looked, he looked a little tired, looked a little gassed. So I think the Nuggets have that championship look right now. But the Lakers I'm sure will do some good work at home. But the Nuggets, man, I mean, they didn't even need it. Jokic didn't score in the fourth quarter, and they dominated the fourth quarter.
Yep. No, they're very good. And like I said, now the Lakers, they got their work cut out for them down 0-2 back at home. They're going to have to win 4 out of the next 5 against that team. And that seems like a tall task with the way that Denver is playing right now. And then on the other side of things, Joe, the Eastern Conference Final gets underway last night between Carolina and Florida. And 4 overtimes later, Matthew Tkachuk wins it. And by the way, not only 4 overtimes later, but 1947 into the 4th overtime. So they were 13 seconds away from going to overtime number 5 last night. But Matthew Tkachuk wins it. And the Florida Panthers, those pesky Panthers again, they go on the road. They're up 1-0 in the series. And Matthew Tkachuk continues to be just an absolute stud in the playoffs.
I went to bed after, 2, I think there was, at least one. I watched the goalie interference goal.
Yeah.
That was in the first overtime. I think I went to bed after the first overtime. My goodness, man.
You could have stayed up much longer.
How many people in that building were still just like so relieved, even though they're Hurricanes fans or like Hurricanes employees and stuff? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, someone please score. Boy, so that's the longest game since when? We're going back.
We're going
6th
back
longest.
Ways. It's like the 6th longest, I think, of all time. I'm trying to remember the last time we've had one that's been that long. I mean, Joe, you and I have been there for a couple of 2 overtime, and I think we were there for 3 overtime right? One.
Yeah.
And that was long. A 4th one that was essentially the entire period of the 4th overtime that was played. That's a long night. That's a long night at the arena, and they were 13 seconds away from having to go through another intermission and getting overtime number 5 at that point. But I was on a podcast yesterday, and we were talking about a bunch of different things. But one of the things that came up was long-term contracts and the Predators being smart with that moving forward. But one of the examples we brought up in terms of it's more about who you choose rather than the actual length of the contract. Remember the discussion we were having just about this time last year, maybe a few weeks away from this time last year. We were talking a whole lot about Matthew Tkachuk and whether or not he was going to be traded by the Calgary Flames and where the Predators would fall on that list. And Jeremy Rutherford, who came on our show during that time and has been on our station a couple of times since then, he has pointed out that Nashville was on the list. Now, where they were at on the list, I don't know, but Nashville was on the list in some form or fashion in terms of interest from Matthew Tkachuk. And, man, it would be nice to have that guy. Put up 100 points again this season for the 2nd year in a row, and he has been maybe the best player in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Matthew Tkachuk for
a
few days. And sometimes, in the offseason, it's a little bit lighter schedule, and something like that can be a source of speculation. But, I mean, that was a big deal, the fact that they were on his list. Imagine Matthew Tkachuk in Nashville right now.
Yeah, it would be pretty wild to think about it from that perspective. Joe, game 2 tonight between the Celtics and the Heat. I got Call Your Shot Friday coming up a little bit later this hour. But what are your initial thoughts on the game tonight as the Heat and the Celtics prepare for game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final with Miami leading that series 1-0?
Well, I expect the Celtics to even it up. I mean, I still think they have the edge in this matchup. But obviously it was thrilling to watch what Miami did in game 1. And on the subject of that series, I saw an interesting little snippet, and this is just from Twitter, but Ryan Russillo making the point about Jimmy Butler. I thought was a really interesting point. Jimmy Butler has not done a ton in terms of team success in his career. Yet, no one really dogs him for that, right? Which is interesting. Like you think about like KD and the crap he takes, and different people who actually even have like won a ring.
Yep.
I just had never thought about it in those terms. But Jimmy Butler, but it's because if you watch him play, like you just have no doubt that, on both ends of the floor, he's just a killer, I mean, he's just desperate effort, and he's just a winner. So just an interesting thought. I'd never really thought about it in those terms. Like, even people talk about like Dame, and it's not his fault, but it's still like, oh, poor Dame, in Portland. But Jimmy Butler is kind of in a different category, and I think Jimmy Butler, man, it'd be fun to watch him play for a ring this year. I don't know if he can get past the Nuggets. I've already got the final set, Heat Nuggets, but it'd be fun to watch.
It would be a lot of fun to watch. We'll see if the Celtics even things up tonight, or if Miami goes on the road and steals both of them in Boston. That would be something if that takes place. We'll see what happens there. And then finally, game 1 tonight between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know how many people around the country are excited for Dallas and Vegas, but I kind of am, Joe. I think it's going to be a great series. I mean, those two teams, I don't know that it's going to be an overly offensive series, but I think both of those teams are really, really good and don't have a whole lot of weaknesses. So I'm looking forward to Dallas and Vegas getting rolling tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice. It wasn't my top choice or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, when there's time to tear away from very closely monitoring the Milwaukee Admirals.
Well, there's that for sure.
That that takes priority. And then it's the NHL, and then it's like household chores and things like that.
I can't wait.
Personal hygiene, all that stuff.
You and Jared,
all after the Admirals.
Gonna have to offer a defense for yourself coming up at 7:00. You two have made a lot of people mad. So
I think Jared and I should go to the bar and find the Admirals. I'm sure it'll be on TV all over the city.
I'm sure it will. 615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, I got a question for Titans fans. Are we placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel looking ahead to this season? We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Whatever your destination in life, you can get there easier with a checking account from F&M Bank. At F&M, our checking accounts give you the tools you need to manage your money well, like our smart free checking account that's actually free. Because sometimes the basics are more than enough, making lives better by making banking easier. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
20 years ago, when Genesis Diamonds came to Nashville, this was one of the most expensive cities in America for diamond jewelry. Our radical approach and no middleman pricing changed that forever. And now we're doing it again, this time with lab-grown diamonds. We were shocked to find out what the other mall stores and the other big radio advertisers were charging. They sell their platinum 4-carat VS2 lab-grown earrings for $15,720. We sell them for $6,900. Their 3.08 carat lab-grown round diamond with G-Color VS2 clarity is $10,045. We sell it for $5,900. Looks like they might be going back to the old ways. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. Nashville, we are not going backwards. At Genesis Diamonds, our non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and prices you can count on. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Arthritis and rheumatic conditions are leading causes of disabilities among adults. Joint replacement could be the solution. The team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics approaches each case with a complete evaluation to see if surgery is right for you. Houston Clinic Orthopedics specializes in arthritis, hip, knee, and shoulder replacements, hip fractures, osteoarthritis of the hip, and joint pain. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game and on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, and like us on Facebook, too. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Call TJ's team today to see why they are referred to so often. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. Live from our 1025 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. So, Joe, the question that I have for you and for Titans fans out there is, are we placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel for this season? And let me kind of tell you what I mean by that. As we do every year, we're sitting here in mid-May, and we're looking at the schedule that has just come out for the Titans. The draft has just taken place. Free agency is now, the first wave of it, gone through, and there could be a move that's made here or there by the Titans, but largely I think we know basically what their team is going to be next year in terms of who is on the roster. And now we're trying to determine, all right, well, exactly what does that mean? How good are they going to be? And we've talked about wide receiver specifically and just the glaring hole that is the wide receiver room. And when I hear Titans fans discussing this year, a lot of the conversation is, well, they still have Ryan Tannehill. They still have Derrick Henry. The offensive line has been revamped. And they have Mike Vrabel, so they can't be that bad. They have Mike Vrabel, so they can't be that bad. And I hear that, and let me make myself clear. I think Mike Vrabel is an outstanding coach. I think he's very gifted at what he does. We have seen Mike Vrabel come through time and time again. The Vrabel special has been a thing. I believe in all those things. But Mike Vrabel was also the coach last year when they lost 7 games in a row, and I look at this offense right now and still wonder how in the world they're going to score enough points to win on a consistent basis this year in the NFL. So I hear well, they have Mike Vrabel. They're not going to be that bad, and I get where the idea is coming from Titans fans. But could Titans fans be placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel given what the roster looks like at the moment, specifically at wide receiver with this group?
So I'll flip it around on you.
Okay.
Because I will say more and more predictions. But so far, having a gander at the predictions, I think I would ask the question, is the rest of the NFL forgetting about Mike Vrabel?
I think that's a very fair question.
Because there's not a ton of faith put in him to me if you think the Titans are whatever, like 28th, 27th, 29th, the different spots that we've seen, whether it's prediction, whether it's like a projected draft order, an actual power ranking, Vegas odds, all those things to me are kind of dismissing the Vrabel factor. So I do think what you said is true of some people. I mean, look, the Titans have lost 7 in a row, but shoot, I mean, last year saw we interacted with Titans fans who are like, when's Vrabel getting fired? So
there is
I
that.
mean, it doesn't, it can flip quickly on you. But like I think the idea that he's some just magician, some wizard who can just make do with anything is not true. And look, one of the Vrabel things that has been, I don't think it'll even be a factor this year because, like, I don't think at least going into the year, they're not going to be expected to be a lot better than anybody. But they have had the issue at times of losing games they shouldn't lose under Vrabel. But they've countered that and then some by winning games that they should win. And then for the most part, I mean, they've just done a lot more winning than losing. And the last 2 years, I mean, if you want to make the case for why Vrabel is one of the very best, top handful of coaches in the league, the last 2 years certainly give you a lot of evidence when you look at what they had to deal with in terms of injuries. But also, Mike Vrabel hired Todd Downing as his OC. And while I'm on the record as saying I don't think that Todd Downing, like I think he knows that a football's oblong and like how to call a pass play and a run play. I don't think that was a good decision by Mike Vrabel. That's a huge decision. So it's not like it's been perfect.
It's not been perfect, and it's more about, like, what do we talk about all the time in this league? And Vrabel has talked about it too. It's players more than it is coaches, right? Like, you got to have the players if you're going to be good. Now, having said that, I mean, we can point to several different examples, even some games that they haven't even won, like the Kansas City game last year that we talk about all the time, where they really didn't have any business being on the field in that game, and yet they found themselves neck and neck with the Chiefs with Malik Willis as the starting quarterback last year. I mean, that's evidence to Vrabel being a very good coach. And I think something Koharski said a couple of weeks ago, I believe in 100%, and that is we know what Vrabel is defensively. Like, they're going to find a way, especially if they can stay relatively healthy, for their defense to keep them in there and hang around. I mean, that's what we've seen from this team the last couple of years. We talked about the margin for error for this group yesterday. I look at this offense and the wide receiver room specifically, and I know how good Mike Vrabel is. Like I said, I think he's a really good coach. But I also look at this group right now and I wonder, man, like, are they going to be able to put together enough offense? Like, regardless of how good a coach Mike Vrabel is, and Tim Kelly coming in and his name's not Todd Downing and he's got his own spin on all that stuff, I get all that. There's a chance where the offense could be way better than we think it is right now. But, like, at the end of the day, if you don't have the playmakers on offense, I don't really care how good your coach is. It's going to be really difficult to produce on a consistent basis that way.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And also is a limited personnel situation, like, because he's a quote unquote defensive coach, like, is it better for him to have it on defense than on offense? If that makes sense.
Maybe.
Like he can make do with, Buster Screen. Yeah, give it a shot. And Chris Jackson and, moving parts, rotating guys in on that defense and put together a good plan and good performances every week. But, because the offense is such an issue, or we think it's such an issue, at least on paper, is that worse for a defensive coach?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a texter on the text line that says, is the NFL forgetting Vrabel, or does a 7-game losing streak put doubt that it's as potent as it once was? This is from a texter on the text line.
No, I mean, I think for sure the 7-game losing streak is a factor in any of this. But I still feel like I think, considering the Titans to be the absolute dregs of the NFL, to me, I think that's a bit much. I think that's a bit dismissive. And I do think that the Vrabel factor, you would think that would give him a little bit of a bump with some people. Again, I'm not saying he's the Wizard of Oz, but I would think that the Vrabel's presence would convince people that they can at least be decent, middling. Not that you necessarily want to be middling, but I just don't look at this team with the defense, with Derrick Henry, with Ryan Tannehill. We'll see with the parts of the offense that are trying to be rebuilt. But with everything that we do know about this team, I don't see how this is like a 3 or 4 win team.
Cody on Twitter says, responding to the question of are we placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel, he says, is that even possible? He's done more with less the past two seasons than any coach I can remember for the past 20 years. They had the best record in the AFC 2 years ago while also having the highest number of players dressed for a roster in a single NFL season in history. This from Cody on Twitter. What about that? Done more with less in the past 2 seasons than any coach in the past 20 years.
That's a bold statement, but it's been very impressive, especially in light of the injuries. But again, seven straight losses. 7 straight losses is 7 straight losses. So, and it's wild too because 2 years ago, I mean, you got the number 1 seed. You can't complain about it, but it was such a wildly inconsistent team. But then again, when you consider the injuries, that team, and you lose your best player halfway through and you still get the 1 seed. I mean, it's hard to argue that there wasn't some special coaching happening there.
Yeah, no question. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Are Titans fans placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel, or the national media maybe not placing enough faith in Mike Vrabel? We'll continue that conversation coming up next. 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take me 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey guys, it's Mike at Newton Ford. We're a dealership in Shelbyville, Tennessee, just a few minutes outside of Murfreesboro. We love to give back to the community like teacher appreciation giveaways, student scholarships, and first responder lunches. This month, if you're in need of a newer pre-owned vehicle, this giveaway is for you. With any vehicle purchase, new or used, every single customer will get a $500 Kroger gift card. That's right, this month, fill up your garage and your grocery cart. We know times are tough and groceries are more expensive these days, which is why we're offering this special offer. The only requirement is you buy an in-stock vehicle and finance with us. We have over 80 new cars and over 140 pre-owned vehicles, and a long list of banks ready to help make the purchase fit your budget as well. The best part is, you can start this entire process online with Newton FastPass. That's right, no phone calls or waiting on the hot lot. Just start shopping right now by visiting newtonford.com/Newton FastPass. That's newtonford.com/Newton FastPass. Don't miss this opportunity to get a vehicle you want and the groceries you need with the help of Newton Ford in Shelbyville, Tennessee. See website for details.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolfshops.com.
312 Pizza Company is a proud sponsor of Nashville Sounds Baseball on 102.5 The Game.
Keep listening to 102.5 The Game for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena, Friday, May 26th, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary. Listen for your cue to text to win DMB tickets from The Game and our friends at Green Trees Company Dispensary.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
They talk sports.
The Predators get the 2 points, which is obviously what they needed.
They're not making big moves that are jaw-dropping signings in free agency.
They talk life.
Well, I almost just fell down the stairs, so there's that.
My backpack was so heavy, the seatbelt alarm was going off the entire trip.
But most of all, they have a good time.
Here or there.
Yeah.
Chase and Michelle, weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 102.5, 106.3 The Game has your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena coming up on Friday, May 26th, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary, providing high-quality legal THC products. Text in the keyword TREES. That's TREEZ, trees with a Z instead of an S. Now to the game text line at 615-737-1025 for your chance to be entered to win. 615-737-1025. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you. Throwing the question out there, are Titans fans maybe placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel? And are the national media maybe not placing enough faith in Mike Vrabel when it comes to this year for the Tennessee Titans? Now, Titans in Truth on the text line says, Vrabel's a good coach, but he's not a great coach. This is what you have done. This is a what. Oh, my goodness, can I speak? This is a what have you done for me lately league, and even with injuries, we should not be an excuse for losing 7 in a row. This is a make-or-break year from him this year. This is from Titans in Truth on the text line.
Make or break for him this year.
By the way, you sound great.
Is that a little bit more?
It is.
Oh, we figured it out. Yes.
There we go. Yeah, make or break. What does that mean? Is again, I'm not shaming anybody. Who I'm not going to shame anyone who talks about hot seats.
I'm not either.
Working for an organization owned by Amy Adams Strunk after last year, because I've done it once. I learned my lesson. But boy, I don't know. Make or break. Now, if they're bad, that's the interesting thing too. It's like, I guess, like if they go with Tannehill and they've got Henry and they basically have their key primary players and they're bad, what does that mean? What does that mean for Vrabel? I think go ahead.
It's an interesting thought because, like, and I don't know this, but my guess would be, like, if they're bad enough, at some point you're turning the keys over to Will Levis, and then the conversation about your team just totally changes at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if they do that, and it's like, again, this is where their schedule, and I'm still not convinced the Jags are going to be this, Super Bowl contender. I think it could make the argument for them that they should keep plugging away and not go to the rookie. But if they go to the rookie, then yeah, I mean that's just a totally different thing to me. You don't really judge the wins and losses after that, really. But I don't know. I feel like the Robinson move in part was, it's not like it was like you had to fire one of them, but I do think it was kind of like, well, this guy's doing his job really well, Vrabel, and this guy is not doing his job well, Robinson. I mean, the last few years, just way too many mistakes and with huge decisions. So the guy who's staying has more of a say in things. If that's the case, or then you're going to go out and zap him,
right?
When you're just trying to start this partnership with the new GM Rand Carthon, I have a hard time buying that.
Well, I do too, and like I said, I think Will Levis changes a lot of things. Like at some point, if they're bad enough, Will Levis is probably going to start, and then really the whole direction of the franchise is about getting him ready to go. So, like at that point, if you're Amy Adams Strunk or if you're anybody else, do you look around and say, yeah, we know that it's been bad this year, but we want to fire the coach and just have Will Levis start over with somebody else next year? I don't know if I could see the Titans doing that. Now, if you get a couple years down the road and Will Levis isn't any good and the Titans have fallen completely off the table and competing in the AFC, then obviously we're having a different discussion. But I don't know personally that I see a path this year to Vrabel actually being in trouble if that makes any sense. It feels like the decision on that front was made last year, and now you just got to kind of let it go and play out for the next couple of years. And if it doesn't work out, then Vrabel's probably in trouble at that point. But I don't know that personally I envision a scenario where he's on the hot seat this year.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, well.
And, I mean, if you really look at performance relative to personnel, not just not having an elite quarterback, but the injuries and everything else. I mean, Derrick Henry, again, missed half the season 2 years ago, all that. It's been impressive. And I think that anybody who says, yeah, well, put Vrabel out on the street and he'll have 5 offers. I mean, I agree with that. I think that a lot of teams would hire him as I don't have a name here, but this is a text. My favorite Vrabel moment when he used the loophole to burn clock against Belichick in the playoffs. Dude is a cerebral assassin.
He is.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. But he's I mean,
is he a serial winner?
Hopefully he's not a serial assassin.
Well, yeah, hopefully not. Although he probably could be if you wanted to.
Yeah. He could do some damage, man. Can you imagine like Vrabel as like a Viking in
yes,
like
I
the
can.
1200s, But no, he's been like
Goliath.
From that perspective. It's interesting because his first year there were a lot of like late game decisions that didn't work out, and some of them that were head scratching. I mean, he's had those moments. I feel like those have also diminished and gotten less frequent as he's gone on. Certainly not perfect, but he's been pretty good. I agree. I mean, I think he's here for the rebuild or the reset or whatever it is, or maybe that doesn't happen this year. Maybe they just go back to winning 11, 12 games. Like Ken said, I don't see if the Titans have improved on offense. Maybe a better O-line, but that is the whole thing, right? I mean, they haven't improved enough at receiver. If they have significantly improved the offensive line, then I think things are going to look a lot better.
Dustin on the text line says, I don't think they're picking Levis and not giving Vrabel 1 full year to coach him up. Vrabel, without a doubt, has at least 2 years to prove himself. But in my opinion, he already has. With that said, if the Titans go out there and win 5 games this year and 7 next year, then there's room for talk of firing. This from Dustin from Hopkinsville on the text line.
If they do that, he might just be looking to move on himself. I'm trying to imagine Vrabel enduring a 5-12 season, and then I mean, obviously they went 7-10 last year, and they.
But that's the thing, though. Like even in the scenario that Dustin just threw out there, say they win 5 this year. Well, I would assume that Levis is the quarterback after that, and if they go from 5 to then winning 7 with Levis, like even that conversation is going to be different, I think.
Yeah, it will be. Now, by then, you're talking about, okay, so has Henry gone too? Has Byard moved on? Some of you. It never times out perfectly for you. You're in the prime right now of Jeffrey Simmons having just, signed him to a big deal. Landry is now on the field after signing his big deal. So there's some urgency here, with some of these guys. But I agree with you. If it bottoms out like that and he's okay, which I think he still would be, that is still progress. And it just depends on how it looks, with Levis. At some point, you do have to give him some receivers. And I understand Traylon Burks for Jared is the greatest receiver in NFL history on the way next year. But and I think he can be very good. But you're still pretty limited there.
Zach from Nashville on the text line says, I don't think national media are discounting Vrabel. I think they're way down on the depth and talent of this roster, understandably so. However, the schedule lays out very nicely for the Titans, and I think there are local media members, cough, cough, Mike Herndon, cough, cough, who are way too down on this team winning enough games to be frisky. This is from Zach from Nashville on the text line. Calling out Herndon. I like it.
I haven't seen what did Herndon make a season prediction?
I haven't seen specifically what Herndon has said. No.
Okay.
If he has, I missed it.
I went 9-8, which might be a little bit optimistic. I don't know, but I think the schedule is really important, and this happens a lot too. You're asking people out there. I mean, I've done it. Like, that looks like about a 5-12 team. Or that looks like a 10-7 team. God, I hate that I'm just so I've normalized the 17 game schedule, and it really breaks my heart. But did I say that
after going through every single game? Usually no. And that is a thing. I mean, the NFC South's presence on this schedule is an awfully nice thing for the Titans.
Chris on the text line says, would Vrabel's firing be a collaborative decision? This is from Chris on the text line. Very well done.
Nice. I'm going to say no.
Probably not.
Yeah. I'm going to say no. And LD, it is me. It is not Barry White. But
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for enjoying the smooth sounds.
Chuck on the text
smooth
line
sounds.
says, are we going to have another season where if the Titans get down by 10, we're saying, well, this game's over? This is from Chuck on the text line. Gosh, I hope not. I hope that from the offensive line being revamped to maybe Traylon Burks and Kyle Phillips, like there's at least enough in the tank offensively where it's like, well, I know it's 10-0 with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, but the Titans can come back from this. That would be great.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's basically going to be that. Now they can still win a lot of games because they can keep it one score and they can be in grinders and they can win 17-13 and they can win a lot of games like that. But yeah, I don't see this team mounting, 20-point fourth quarters.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to imagine. Now, I will say maybe they will average more than like 6 in the second half next year. That would be fun. Like if you could get to potentially every now and then scoring double digits in the second half, I'd sign up for that.
Right. Like get one touchdown in the second half of games, average one touchdown plus might help you.
Still kind of amazing how bad they were in the second half offensively last year. Very mystifying how that came to be. Maybe it's not mystifying. Maybe it's as simple as Todd Downing, Joe. It's what some Titans fans think.
Maybe it's Vrabel.
Maybe it's
to be considered. It's all Vrabel.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, it's time for Call Your Shot Friday. We need your bold predictions in the world of sports. It can be with the Titans. It can be with the NBA or NHL playoffs going on. Everything on the table. 615-737-1025 on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Call Your Shot Friday next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063, The Game.
Want to jump into the mind of a 15-year NFL vet? Well, here's your chance.
D-Mace.
It's Ask D-Mace.
Come on, bring them on.
Ask questions on football and life to Derek Mason every Friday at 12:30 on Ask D-Mace.
Don't mess with her. The skilled guy. Money reigns supreme.
On Caroline, Willie, and
D-Mace.
On 1025 and 1063, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Join the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce on June 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th for an exclusive look into what makes Nashville the IT city. Whether you're new to town or a Nashville native, Intro Nashville gives you the opportunity to become engaged and connected to our city's community. During this multi-day immersive program, you'll hear from over 20 community leaders and industry experts whose storytelling unlocks a comprehensive view of our city and region. Gain historical and economic perspective on Nashville while establishing relationships with local business leaders. Space is limited. Register now at intronash.com.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, Willie Donick here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. That's 100%. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loan. Consolidate all your payments into one check per month and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. And Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now. See what your options are. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called Testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
James.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321-321. That's HUNK to 321-321.
Tonight, Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final between my beloved Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Coverage on 94.9 The Fan begins after Sounds Baseball. Your home for the NBA playoffs
is 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The sports weekend has arrived. You know what that means.
Shoot your shot.
It's time for Call Your Shot Friday with Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week, time for Call Your Shot Friday here on Robby and Rexrode. We need your bold predictions, your called shots on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Joe Rexrode, how did we do last week in Call Your Shot Friday?
I did great.
You did great. Well, let's go to you first. James Harden, Embiid, and Maxey combined for less than 50 in Game 7. That is outstanding.
Ooh, 41 points combined for.
Doc Rivers will be fired if the Sixers lose. I don't know how much of a shot that was, but you know what?
Ding,
You were right.
ding, ding.
Correct. You were right. Ekholm will have a goal in the next game. I don't think that happened.
He did not.
Levis will throw a TD pass by week 5. Okay, so
Keep it in mind.
We got to remember that. And I wish you could have been right on this one. Warriors will win the series, and Steph will have more than 45 tonight. That was Game 6. They played probably the worst game I've ever seen them play.
Yeah, that was bad. Bad shooting night from everyone around.
Poor Clay. Clay's kind of washed. Robby.
Kind of.
Edmund. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he has the moments here and there still, but it's tough to lean on him like before. Edmonton will lose Game 5 and win Games 6 and 7. McDavid with 6 goals in those games.
I got the losing Game 5 part right.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of Clay Thompson will score 33 points tonight in the Game 6. I wish you were right. He had the wide open shots to score that and then some, and couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And Hendon Hooker will be starting for the Lions by week 7. So there's one for you.
Yes, sir.
I had nothing that we can judge this week, which I kind of like. I was not wrong about anything.
Oh, good.
I was wrong about I was 100% not wrong. Jordan Poole will be on another team next season. We'll see. The Denver Nuggets will win the World Championship. We'll see. And the Nashville Predators will fire John Hines. We'll see.
Okay. So with that in mind, let's get rolling with today's edition of Call Your Shot Friday. Michelle Knezovic, you were up first.
Starting in the association, the Nuggets will sweep the Lakers.
Wow.
In this series, the Nuggets will sweep, and they'll have a little extra time until they head to the finals again. So book it. Nuggets sweeping the Lakers. Okay, and now another called shot in regards to this and the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Both Florida teams will win the title. The Florida Panthers and Robby, your beloved Miami Heat.
I can't allow myself to do that yet.
Okay.
If they do, like, I bet you there'll be a parade of hundreds.
Wow.
No.
Just shots being thrown left and right.
I mean, look, if I lived on the beach,
I've been to a Miami Heat game. I mean, then again, I don't think it counts because it was like Dwayne Wade's last home game or something.
It's a good crowd when they're winning.
And they
when they're not down by 7 with few seconds remaining and the entire arena leaves, and then Ray Allen hits a shot and everybody wants to get back in the door.
Okay, next up. In Game 2 of Miami and Boston, Jimmy Butler will have more points than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined.
Ooh. That could be very good news for the Miami Heat.
He's going to be hot in the TD
That's
Garden.
a shot.
I like it.
Off-season shot. Steve Kerr will retire this offseason.
Really? Okay. That would not be good news for Joe Rexrode.
Look at his face.
He's very upset.
And finally.
Where are you getting this from?
No, it's just a cold shot. Okay. Final shot. Most anticipated, I know, by Joe. The Milwaukee Admirals will win it all.
The Calder Cup.
Calder Cup, win it all, and you will get to see lots more tweets by the one and only Nick Keiser, Rexrode.
Hey, Joe Rexrode, Jared Stillman defense coming up in 10 minutes.
Hey, you know what? I tell you what, if that happens, that's great. That's weeks of content. I mean,
Listen, serial winners.
As we go through as we go through and recap the Admirals season, from day one. We can go back to training camp. What we thought of the Admirals then, what they became, and think about all the amazing shows.
There's so many.
I mean, I have thoughts on all those topics. We could do it. Joe Rexrode, your called shots for this week.
After that very Porth-like run of shots
Hey.
from Michelle, I only have. That's fine. There's nothing wrong. It's quantity and quality.
Yeah.
I've got 3 quick ones. One, I got the Miami Heat will win this series, and they will do it by winning Game 7 in Boston.
You are making me nervous.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, I love that shot.
Anthony Davis in Game 3 will have a 30-20 game for the Lakers. It's time for him to blow up, and he will do so in the next game. He's got to be more aggressive. And finally, and this is a shot after being at Hawkins Field last night and watching a pretty brutal performance and really tough loss. Vanderbilt baseball will win the next 2 from Arkansas, number 3 Arkansas, and get the last national seed. They'll be the 8 seed, which means that they would host a super regional. They're right on the cut line. They need it badly. And again, like last night, the defense fell apart on them, which betrayed Patrick Riley. They're all banged up with the pitching staff. They're a hurting team right now, but I think they're going to win the next 2.
There we go. I like it. All right, my called shots of the week. Jimmy Butler will shoot less than 33% from the field tonight. I feel a stinker coming tonight from the Heat and from Jimmy Butler specifically. Could part of this
less
me
than
be
33?
setting myself up? But yes, less than 33%.
Reverse psychology.
Could it be a little reverse psychology taking place? I'll let you be the judge of that. But Jimmy Butler, less than 33% from the field tonight against the Celtics.
Doesn't work, but good try.
Well, thank you. We'll see what
Joe
happens.
already tried.
He did try that. Dallas and Vegas. That series is going 7 games. And we can keep this in mind later, but in Game 7, it's going to overtime, and Jason Robertson will score the game-winning goal for the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars are heading to the Stanley Cup Final. But 7-game series between Dallas and Vegas. Jason Robertson with a game winner coming up in Game 7. I know Game 1 hasn't taken place yet. I'm already calling a game winner for Game 7, Joe Rexrode. That's how I'm operating on Call Your Shot
I love it
today. And my final called shot of the day, Joe, and I'm going to look college baseball flair as well, and I had this planned before you went college baseball with a college baseball flair. This will be the Tennessee Volunteers team that will reach the College World Series final. This year, they will reach the College World Series final, which is hilarious given the team that they put out there last year. But my friend told me this like 2 months ago when they were bad and said, watch, this will be the team that gets to the final. And I'm stealing his called shot. I'm doing it right now. This will be the Tennessee team that gets to the College World Series final.
It's a good shot. It's a good shot. They're playing well. They got their swagger back, and they still have. I mean, they have a tremendously talented team. They got to play better away from home. Big series this weekend in South Carolina, but I absolutely could see that happening.
Keep Shane Beamer away from them this weekend. Johnny on Twitter, our resident friend of the show, says, fun fact, if both the Heat and the Panthers make their respective championship series, it'll be the first time a city made both the NBA Finals and the Cup Final in the same year since 2003, back when the New Jersey Nets were in the final and the New Jersey Devils. What do you think of that one?
That's a great stat. God, I hated both of those teams, by the way. I hated those Devils teams and those Nets teams.
Caleb and Gallatin asking if there's going to be a parade here in Nashville that Joe will attend if the Admirals win it all.
Yes. Joe is leading the parade. He's going to be on the front float.
If not a parade, there will at least be like a cheese curd festival. Okay.
Oh, good. Well,
we will gather together. Yeah, me too.
Not a big fan of this.
The question is, will it just be a one-day parade if Milwaukee wins it? I mean, can't we really kind of make a case for like a 2-3 day event? I think we can.
Craig on the text line says, my called shot is the game finally gives us what we want and puts Joe and Jared on the same show for a 3-hour block, Monday through Friday. This is from Craig on the text line. Joe, your thoughts?
Well, Craig, would you like me to die I'm already getting older, Craig. What are you trying to do to me, bro? Hey, first of all, the only person who's going to be paired with Jared is our guy PK. When Stilly and Paulie happens, and then finally Jared's going to have to embrace, sharing the microphone. But for now, he seems very happy hogging a mic for 4 hours a day.
I like that call shot. Who would be my co-host at that point? Are you stealing Joe away from me at that point? Or am I getting fired? What are we doing?
Or maybe Jared's getting bounced to the mornings. What do you think? Well,
no, it'll be you and Keezer.
Welcome Jared in here.
A full Admirals show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Admirals Insiders? I think that sounds amazing.
LD from McMinnville on the text line says, it's time for the Warriors to break up the current version of Run TMC, Steph, Clay, Draymond. I believe Clay could be on a different team next season. This is from LD on the text line. Is that a called shot?
I don't know if that's a called shot, but, I could talk all day about this, LD. Steph and Draymond are still pretty close to the peak of their powers. Clay it's just tough. But it's amazing that Clay's even playing. That's what people have to understand. All those injuries, what they've done is they've made him a minus defender. He used to be the guy who you would put on the team's best wing, and he just can't do it anymore. And then that affects everything else. So I'm with you. But also Jordan Poole needs to be somewhere else, so I don't know what the heck I want them to be. Bring back Sharunas Marciulionis.
Just do a Jordan Poole, Draymond Green fight at training camp next year and just get the season started again on the right note. I like it.
I got to say, after watching Jordan Poole this year, I don't know.
Joe said,
I think
punch him again.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
I forgot about that. That was bad.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Jared Stillman. We'll get into the Titans with him, and we'll also get to the Jared Stillman, Joe Rexrode defense of the Milwaukee Admirals as well. Some takes yesterday that made a lot of people mad. We'll get into all that next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute. Disastrous.
I hate that.
It's got to be there.
That's okay. Download the Game Nashville app or go to thegamenashville.com and listen live. We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hi, this is Warren Moon, 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback and member of the Tennessee Titans Ring of Honor and Pro Football Hall of Fame. On the field, I always wore a helmet and pads to make sure I was protected. Life is no different. That's why I got vaccinated and boosted against COVID-19. Protection keeps you in the game. Talk to your doctor and get the information you need to make an informed choice. Gear up, Tennessee. Protect yourself and your family against COVID-19 today.
For more information, go to nflagearup.org/Tennessee.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Visit BeerhouseNashville.com for their live music schedule. Get a $50 gift card for half off right now at thegamenashville.com/deals while supplies last.
Get ready for the power of Godsmack on their new world tour. With special guest, I Prevail. May 23rd, First Bank Amphitheater. Featuring songs from their new album, Lighting Up the Sky. On sale now. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com. Part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com.
Start your savings journey now. A strong savings strategy creates financial stability, leading to more opportunity for you and the people who count on you. At F&M Bank, our savings accounts help you save easily, plan for expenses, and prepare for whatever comes your way. Life is complicated. Banking shouldn't be. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
Your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezvik. The Denver Nuggets barely survived last night. They win 108-103, up 2-0 in the series, and it was Jamal Murray with a huge fourth quarter, scoring 23 points to lead the Nuggets to victory. Up next, they'll head to L.A. for Game 3. Switching to the hockey side of things, Matthew Tkachuk to win it for the Panthers to cap the quadruple overtime. 3-2, the sixth longest game in NHL history. Florida Panthers up 1-0 in the series. Tim Hasselbeck joined Caroline Willie and D. Mace yesterday to discuss the quarterback situation here in Tennessee.
So here would be my question, and you know how this works. So, like, if it's close, right? Because I think that's like the key. I think that's a key element to this. Hey, if it's close, well, how do you decide if it's close or not? How do you decipher if it's close or not? What needs to happen? There needs to be a competition, right?
Yeah.
There isn't going to be a competition.
Tonight in the West, Game 1 against the Stars and the Golden Knights. Puck drop at 7:30 p.m. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 1025 and 1063.
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Hour 2, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Friday morning. And as we do every Friday morning at 7 o'clock, we welcome in our friend Jared Stillman to the program. Jared, good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing great, guys. How are you?
We're doing awesome. We were talking about this earlier, but you and Rexrode firing some Preds fans up yesterday with your take on the Milwaukee Admirals. So I guess I'll just turn the floor over to the two of you to offer your defense. Jared, I felt like that you received kind of the brunt of the pushback yesterday, but Rexrode kind of started the whole thing yesterday morning.
Yeah, I mean, I got fired up off of what Joe said, but I do agree with what, Joe had, said in the morning. Let me just say this. The reason why I think I got more of the brunt of it than Joe, and you guys can correct me if you think this is wrong, is because I think more people don't like me than don't like Joe, if that makes any sense. But, it's a take I had. It is what it is. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this last night when everybody's getting all mad at me was, we really might have a coaching change here. Like, I know that it's hard for people to envision that the Predators are going to have a coaching change. I mean, word on the street is that there's going to be a coaching change. I'm not breaking any news or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, that's the word on the street. And it's like people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the minor league team. And I am shocked by that. It's like, we don't want to talk about a coaching change? I mean, we're talking about the coach. But I don't know. Everybody likes what they like, I guess, Robby.
Well, to that point, like I heard, and we're going to get into this here in just a few minutes, but Friedman came on the midday show yesterday, and he was talking about, like, he's heard behind the scenes that, like, basically a decision is coming soon because all parties realize that if you are moving on, that they need to have time to go find other jobs if that's the decision that's made. And I'm like, well, I mean, it kind of sounds like at this point that might be the decision that ends up getting made, just reading between the lines.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a coaching change. It's like if there wasn't going to be a coaching change, then why wouldn't – it's one thing not to say, like, right at the end of the season when I had him on, when Barry Trotz, I have to evaluate. It's kind of another thing when it's the end of the season and he's sitting there at the press conference and to say, I have to evaluate. But for him to have said that last week, I mean, they hadn't played a game in a month and a half, so I don't know what the whole, like, having to evaluate is or what he's been able to evaluate in the last month and a half with Barry Trotz. So I think we're going to have a coaching change too. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to, me and pro sports and the pro sports town, which we are, it's like, what do I care more about, the coaching change or the winning and losing of the minor league team? Like, isn't the coach one of the number one topics in sports? But I don't know. I guess people don't want to talk about the coach.
Well, but if your little theory is correct, Jared, then that is relevant because the Preds' next coach is just kind of is modeling the behavior of a coach going for a cup, which he will be doing, starting in Nashville next year.
Yeah, I don't think that Carl Taylor is going to be the next coach of the Predators.
But you don't. Why have you changed?
Just the word on the street, which I'm a big believer in. I think the word on the street has me believing that Carl Taylor will not be the next coach of the Predators.
Okay, so who will be? I mean, let's keep going with your word on the street.
Well, the word on the street, I don't know about who will be the coach. This is like my late grandfather. He used to, work with my uncle. And my uncle would always go into my grandfather's office and ask him what he wanted for lunch, and he would tell him what he didn't want. So he'd say, like, I don't want a chicken sandwich. I don't want not really what you do want. And so I don't know who the coach is going to be. And I don't know that Carl Taylor's not going to be the coach. I would just say that my sense, like Diana Rossini's sense, leading up to the draft that the Titans wanted C.J. Stroud, or Doug Collins' sense that Phil Jackson was going to take his job. My sense is that Carl Taylor is not viewed as ready for an NHL coaching position.
Jared, we kicked this around earlier, and hang with me from where I'm going with this, but the question I threw out there is, are Titans fans placing too much faith in Mike Vrabel? I think Vrabel's a really good coach. I think he's proven what a good coach he is, but they did lose 7 games in a row to end last season. I look at the wide receiver room right now, and I think to myself, where is the playmaking coming from this team? And yet I hear like some Titans fans talk about the schedule, and it's like, well, they got Tannehill, they got Henry, and they got Mike Vrabel, so they can't be that bad. Like, do you think Titans fans are placing too much faith in Vrabel given what this roster looks like right now?
No, I mean, I think that's my take. Like, I think that take was taken from me. One of the things that I laugh about, and I honestly think even you guys have to laugh about this a little bit, the amount of people that get mad at me for like controversial take. People that get mad and all they ever do is talk about how they never listen to the show and they hate the show and that the reason why that they don't listen to the show is because they hate me. And yet it seems like I have like these takes that everybody hears. And that's my take, is that Vrabel, Henry, and Tannehill are going to keep you as a team from – I mean, you're not going to win 4 games with those 3 guys. You're going to win at least 7 games probably like at least 8 or 9 if you've got those 3 guys. And so I believe it. Like, I truly believe that the Titans are going to be just where they were last year, competing for the division at the end of the season with Jacksonville. When I went game by game, I had the Titans winning 11 games, which I'm embarrassed to say because I don't look at the Titans and see an 11-win team. But, again, going each game, like, Saints, I think they'll beat the Saints. But that being said, I think that you're totally allowed to believe that. I mean, think about it. With Tannehill, Henry, and Vrabel, the Titans have not the Titans were, a 10, 9, even last year, 7-win team. And Tannehill missed 5 games. Like, and I'm not one to sit there and say, well, you can't count that one but I think we can all agree that if Ryan Tannehill plays, the Titans would have beaten the Texans last year.
Yes.
So at a minimum, you're at 8 wins. with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and Mike Vrabel together. And that's with everything bad happening. And 2 years in a row of 85 and 91 players or whatever it is. So if the Titans just get a little bit of luck, I mean, I think that Henry, Tannehill, and Vrabel are a 9-win trio together. And then if the schedule breaks right or the defense is really, really good or something like that, then you're even more than that. So, no, I don't think Titan fans are placing too much faith in Vrabel, the coach. I do wonder if Vrabel, the GM, who promised us a receiver after the draft, I do wonder if Vrabel, the GM, and Rand Carthon are going to find that receiver. And I have had my heart set now on Kendrick Bourne of New England, who I think they can get for a bag of balls. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready. OTAs are on Tuesday. Practice. I'm excited. Joe, I expect to see you there. I'm fired up.
I think the word you like to use is bobo. Is that the word? I think that might. I mean, my gosh. And by the way, Jared, find me another human being. Find me anybody. There are a lot of humans in that room who thinks that Vrabel promised anything with that comment, with that answer to Kaharski's question with the receiver room. Promise. Come on.
I mean,
yeah, there's an example of you. I don't think you actually think that. I think you're just
the only thing,
or maybe you've talked
yourself
into it.
The only thing Vrabel didn't do in that comment was say, "I promise I'll get a receiver," but he did everything short of that. And so, to me, I interpreted that as a promise. I interpreted that as when he said, "You're going to trust us," that to me was, "Hey, trust me, I'll get it right. I promise." So
but
I think he promised.
He was, to me, he was saying, "You're going to trust us in general terms. You're going to trust us. We know what we're doing." He wasn't saying, "Guys,
well,
don't
I mean,
worry,
what are we supposed to trust him to run Nick
Westbrook
Akina out there as a starter?
You can trust him to do that.
I ain't trusting him to you do that. I mean, and here's the other thing. I don't trust him. Like, I know that they say, "Oh, yeah, you're going to trust us." Don't tell me what to do. I do not trust you to go trade a bag of footballs to the New England Patriots for Kendrick Bourne and stick Kendrick Bourne at wide receiver too. I don't trust you to do that. But when he says you're going to trust us, I don't think he's talking to me. I don't think he's talking to Paul. I don't even think he's talking to you, Joe. I think he's talking to the fans. And the whole "you're going to trust us," to me, that was a, "Hey, I promise we'll get this figured out." And so now he needs to live up to his end of the bargain and get it figured out like he promised.
Maybe he just thinks Traylon Burks is going to be A.J. Brown.
I mean, what Joe's doing, and this is actually starting
he's
to
more
drive me
dynamic.
crazy.
He's more dynamic.
Do we know who the
Jared.
idiot was that the idiot was who tweeted that out that wasn't me?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes. We do. We found him. And boy, what an absolute – I'll send it to you. It's fantastic.
Okay, because I heard Paul say that, and I did not hear it in live time, but I saw the cut on Twitter, and I was like, what does this have to do with me? And then it got to the end, and Paul said dumber than Jared, and I was like, yeah, that is what I was. But let me just say this again on the Vrabel, the trust, the everything else front, which is I do not understand why. Like I've realized with Joe that unless I literally say like I promise, or Vrabel says I promise, that nothing then is a promise. So you can tell your kids up and down, Joe, you're going to do something for them, but then you don't have to do it, and then they won't say, well, you promised, unless you say I promise. And I am just taking the tone of which with Vrabel said and the way Vrabel said it, and I interpreted his answer to Kaharski's question as a promise to the fans, and I do feel like Paul kind of goaded him into it, but Paul didn't try to goad him into it. He just got defensive and was goaded into it.
Jared, wonderful stuff as always. Thanks for being with us. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, my friend.
All right, go Admirals, guys.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Go Ads.
Jared Stillman, our guest on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Friday morning at 7 o'clock. We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, our phone number. Lots to react to from Jared there, and we will get into the John Hines discussion coming up next because I think it's starting to get pretty interesting. That's coming up on the other side. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
95 94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, the Sounds continue their 6-game series on the road at Durham. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Being value conscious and getting the most for your money is so important these days, and that's why it's more important than ever to shop at Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed value leader.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we explain to you how we travel the world and purchase our diamonds, how we buy in bulk, we pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen. There are no other wholesalers or dealers, so we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally, whether you spend $1,000 or $100,000.
That's why at Genesis, people often end up spending less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with options so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolfshops.com.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Buffalo Bill's Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming welcomes you as you enter Yellowstone Park's East Entrance. 5 museums in one, including a wonderful Plains Indian Museum. Welcome to the West. Buffalo Bill's Center of the West, Cody, Wyoming.
Bundling and saving with Geico is an easy choice, so you're free to ponder life's big questions, like, what's the best animal in the world if not humans? I'd strongly consider ducks to be somewhere up there on the list. Think about it. Ducks can swim, ducks can fly, and ducks can walk on land. They have access to all terrains. They are the ultimate animal. And they wiggle their butts when they walk, which is funny. Yeah, ducks are awesome. End of story. Bundling and saving with Geico. It's an easy choice.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tune in for Nashville Sounds baseball tonight at 5:35 on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds taking on the Durham Bulls, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Sounds wrap up their series this weekend on Saturday at 5:35 and on Sunday at 12:05. Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Jared Stillman for being with us in the last segment. JC says, do y'all have a machine that pumps oxygen into the room to replace what Jared uses during his diatribes? This is from JC from Goatsville on the text line. I thought he was relatively calm that time, Joe.
Yeah, relatively calm. I didn't think he had any takes that were just outrageous. I mean, at some point, did we? I don't know. Did we do that before? Listen to that Vrabel comment at some point. If we haven't, we should. If we have, I apologize. and I apologize that he keeps bringing it up too. It's not true. He didn't promise anything. It's like Jared's ability to listen to a sentence and then think it's a completely different sentence is pretty amazing.
It is. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite qualities about him. He did bring up the John Hines situation, though, Joe. And I will say, just reading kind of the writing on the wall right now on the John Hines front, it's starting to get pretty interesting to me. And we've talked about the Trotz comments on our show last week about he didn't commit to Barry Trotz or to John Hines coming back next year as head coach, and talked about the evaluation process still ongoing. And it's like, it's mid-May at this point. What's really left to evaluate? And Elliot Friedman had some very interesting comments on the Predators coaching front yesterday too, on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Here's what Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet had to say yesterday on their show.
Good. I'd love to hear it. What is taking Barry Trotz so freaking long to make up his mind about the coach?
Well, I think that one of the things that I kind of had heard recently was that there was probably going to be an indication coming soon one way or the other, because one of the things I kind of heard just in my coaching gossip circles was that the Predators and the coaches there, like, they realize it's time to let everybody, or getting close to the time to let everyone know, so that if anyone's not coming back, you can go and look for other work. So I think we are getting closer to a decision one way or another. So I'd heard that had been brought up, that, one way or the other, everybody recognizes people have to kind of be given the opportunity to move on if that's the decision.
So that was Elliot Friedman yesterday on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. And, obviously, Joe, jobs are open, and some coaches have now been eliminated from the playoffs. Spencer Carberry getting some talk out there right now, and the Rangers have actually requested permission to interview him. So I think at least 3 teams have confirmed to talk to him at this point. So Carberry, obviously one of those names. We've talked about him a lot here on the show. But I don't know. You tell me. I hear those comments from Elliot Friedman, and I piece those together with what else we know about this situation, which is Barry Trotz has now had multiple opportunities to say that John Hines is coming back as coach next year, and he hasn't done it. And he's talked about the evaluation process. And Friedman talks on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace yesterday about how, you're getting close to a decision point, because if people are moving on, they need to be able to go find other jobs at that point. Like, the writing on the wall to me, Joe, is starting to look like John Hines is not going to be the coach here next year. That's just the writing on the wall that I'm kind of taking away from this situation.
Well, I would agree. Although, what if the writing on the wall is saying that Barry Trotz has someone in mind, and if he can't get that person, then John Hines can come back for one more year?
Well, it could be. And, we've talked about Carberry with that instance, but maybe it's not him. I mean, Andrew Burnett is a popular name. Andrew Burnett used to play for Barry Trotz, and he was a coach in Florida, and he did a really good job, and now he's the assistant coach in New Jersey. Could he be a target? Could there be somebody that Barry Trotz has in mind that is not one of those popular names out there, and he's got somebody else in mind? It could be. I look at the whole situation, and just based on the way that they've handled it, it's difficult for me to believe at this point that they want John Hines back as the coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm with you. I think it's like back as a fallback.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of respect to John Hines, but you know what? Usually when a new GM comes in, new GM has his own idea for coach. And look, I mean, if John Hines gets to have another year with the Preds, you take that and you suck it up and you take that year and you do the best you can with it, because for John Hines, who again, I feel like I'm the Nashville Bobo when it comes to like defending embattled coaches who everyone wants to blame everything on them. I don't think it's been all bad at all in his tenure, but the recycled coaches in the NHL have won something. And so, this is his second shot at coaching an NHL team. I don't think he's had a full deck at all as a coach of an NHL team, but at some point, you've got to do something in a postseason, I think, to to demonstrate, your staying power in the league. And I don't know if next year's team would give him that opportunity. I would guess no. But you'll take that year if you're him. It's also still got to be, at this point, no matter where it goes, it has to be frustrating for Hines, right?
Yes. I mean, look, there's always the chance that I guess Trotz has told him something behind the scenes that for whatever reason he's just not shared publicly at this point. But again, to me, like if you came away from your quote unquote evaluation and your evaluation was, you know what, John did a really good job and I want him back. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I don't even want to extend him. Like I don't think contract extension is what we're talking about, but I want him back. 1 year left. We'll see how he does and we'll figure it out from there. Like at this point, I don't know why you wouldn't have said that. Like to Jared's point, the evaluation part of it to me should be over by now. And even when we had Trotz on last week, like the evaluation part of it should be over. So I can't imagine if you're John Hines hearing all this go down right now that you're feeling very secure about what your future is going to be here in Nashville. And look, you probably shouldn't feel secure anyway, even if they brought him back. You're 1 year left on your deal. And I think it's clear at least that there's at least consideration to them moving on from you. That's been the case for a while now. But the more I look at this situation, the more I would be surprised if he's back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Am I sticking at 49, 51? I think I'm 49 back, right?
I'm about 15% back at this point.
Wow. You're 1585. I was going to say maybe I need to drop 49. Maybe more into the 30s. I'm a little higher than you. I feel like the scenario, April on the text line is like, I hope it's Robby's scenario, not mine. I kind of feel like that might be it. That it's like, look, we know we have him for another year. He's got another year in his deal. It's good to have that. But in the meantime, I want fill in the blank. I want this guy. This is my guy. But can we get him? I don't know. If it is Carberry, they have a pre-existing relationship, but if you're Carberry, you gotta assess your best opportunity for success. I mean, shoot, I'm intrigued by the Rangers job for sure.
Yeah.
If I'm a coaching candidate, so I think it may be that. In which case, I think there's a real chance that Preds don't get their guy and they go 1 more year with Hines. So I'm going to go 37%.
Now, there's also something else on this that I've kind of heard through the grapevine, talking to some folks that I find to be pretty interesting as it relates to the Predators and the coaching staff, and we'll get into that coming up next as well. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The NFL offseason is in full swing, but you'll never miss any of the big news. Thanks to Yahoo's Charles Robinson.
They know that there's a chance that they're going to have to deal this guy.
He's one of the best insiders there is.
All of a sudden, he becomes a functional player who we thought was just trash.
Join Charles Robinson every Thursday morning at 8 on Robby and Rexrode, presented by the NFL Alumni Association on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Michelle Knesvik here for Superbook Sports. Bring that big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. I've been telling you all about Superbook Sports all year long. I use it all through football season, now all through the postseason. We got baseball going on, we got basketball, we got hockey, and we've got a promo code that you can use, The Game. Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in the sports betting world, my official sports book, and like I said, the promo code, The Game. You can't forget it. It's the name of our station, THEGAME. Score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code, The Game. I've been high on the Denver Nuggets. They're up 2-0. Listen, I think Miami can easily cover that 9-point spread against Boston tonight. Boston, a 9-point favorite at home. I think some of the sports books are disrespecting Miami, and I think they feed off that underdog energy. I think Boston will come out on top tonight, but I think Miami covers that 9-point spread. So give me Miami plus the 9. 215.5 as the over-under. I'm going to take the under on this one. So simply visit superbook.com for terms and conditions, or you can download the Superbook Tennessee app in app stores. Enter the promo code THEGAME, and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. So place the bet I just told you to. Enter the promo code THEGAME. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789.
Now through Memorial Day, get fantastic deals at Electronic Express. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349, or an Amanda laundry pair for $399 each. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture and mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on a Vio laptop for just $499, or Nintendo Switch bundles as low as $429. Shop in-store or online with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only have luxury designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, our expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar in Green Hills. The possibilities are endless.
Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel stays true to the spirit of Music City, the perfect spot for sports and arena concert fans year-round. Savor Bar Lines Originals, the Bar Line Barbecue Burger or Midtown Mushroom Swiss Burger. Excite your taste buds with the Sobro Grinder with smoked turkey, the Boss Hog with whiskey braised pork butt, and the Angry Chicken, pickle brine fried chicken breast with honey sriracha. Attending an event downtown? Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel, open daily at 11 a.m. is a great way to kick off your afternoon or evening.
Does this sound familiar? Did your agent provide excellent entertainment with their TikTok videos and constant social media posts about themselves while completely ignoring that you hired them to sell your home? Did they tell you how wonderful they were? How many followers they had? They probably never sold your home, but hey, they did get 15 likes on their selfies. Hashtag my clients love me. Don't let that happen to you. Google TJ Anderson Homes and see why the only likes we care about are our clients loving our service. Ask us about our prepay with TJ option and how it can save you thousands. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Office number 615-432-2919.
A show that lives and breathes sports.
Focus in, focus in, focus in.
From the SEC.
Credit to the Alabamas, to Georgias, and the Ohio States of the world.
To the Preds.
They've been in a lot of really tight games, but they're not winning enough of them.
To the Titans.
He's talking about what this franchise has built over the years.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace.
What is this? Check it out.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, where their advanced pay by TJ option can save you thousands when selling your home. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. I got some tickets to give away, a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at Bridgestone Arena on June 17th with special guests Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3 will win a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at Bridgestone Arena coming up on June 17th with special guest Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, 615-737-1025. So we are discussing the Predators coaching staff and kind of looking at the writing on the wall right now for John Hines and his staff. You know, the way I'm looking at it, Joe, based on reading the tea leaves, I've gotten to the point where I would be surprised if John Hines is back. But we'll wait and see. It is hiring season in the NHL. That's going to have to start happening pretty soon with the draft coming up next month. So we'll see what happens there. There is one thing that I've talked to several different people about that I think is interesting, that is not really a surprising development to me, and it's not really a new idea. We've talked about it on the show before, but one of the things I wondered heading into this offseason was, regardless of if John Hines was back or not next year, what would the future look like for Carl Taylor? And we know we've talked about Carl Taylor a lot. Could be the next head coach. I don't know. We'll see. But in some form or fashion, could Carl Taylor be on the staff next year? And based on several different conversations that I've had, Joe, I think that there's a pretty good chance that Carl Taylor, regardless of who the head coach is next year, is going to be on the Nashville Predators staff in some form or fashion. I don't know if that's going to be a head coach or not, but I think there's a very good chance that Carl Taylor is behind the bench in some form next year for the Nashville Predators.
Okay, wait a minute now. You're telling me that the Milwaukee Admirals, marching as they are through the postseason, you're going to mess up a good thing with the most important sports team in town, the Milwaukee Admirals.
Just saying.
I fail to see how that makes sense. No, but in all seriousness, that's the that does make sense. It also speaks to what Elliot Friedman was talking about, which is, okay, let's say it's Hines back, but they're going to replace someone on his staff with Taylor. You need to let these guys try to find another job. And I think all of this is going to come together very quickly here, probably. In fact, there's probably going to be a press conference at what time's the show end? 8:56 at probably 8:58 a.m.
Yes, a nice release later this morning. It could be interesting. But, I mean, like I said, that's not a new idea. I think we've probably gotten to the point with Carl Taylor, regardless of the head coach opinion on him. I think he's probably proven that he's at least an NHL coach, and it's time to probably get the ball rolling on that thing. So, again, I haven't been, based on conversations I've had, I don't think it's a guarantee or anything, but I think that there's a very strong chance that Carl Taylor in some form or fashion is behind the bench for the Nashville Predators next year. So how does that factor into John Hines? I don't know. I don't really know that has much to do with Hines. I think regardless of whether or not Hines is back, that could be the case next year for Carl Taylor.
Well, this is a lot of smoke, around changes there, and again, it shouldn't be a surprise with a new GM, but you think about what it looks like now and think about what we all thought as they sat there at the end of season press conference together, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's the information we don't know is was this inevitable? If that's what happens, is it waiting on someone else? How much of a percentage chance in Barry Trotz's mind is John Hines back here? Yeah, Andy says move Hines to help the Admirals. Seems to be a teacher. Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Has that ever happened before?
John?
I don't think so.
We like you. Would you like to go from the NHL head coach to maybe the AHL? I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. John asked about with Carberry under contract, the president want to talk to him. Well, they have to get permission.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we'll hear about it. Yes. So what if that, I don't think that would happen before John. That's the thing about this, right? It's let's say he is the guy. I mean, if you start making the public, which will be public, move to try to see if you can get into the mix for him, then how can you do that and still hold on to Hines?
Well, look, there's always the chance that you could ask for permission, and I guess it doesn't get leaked like that. But that very rarely happens, as we know, with coaches and all that stuff. So, I mean, Elliot Friedman put this out there last night around 9:00, and he was hearing that the Rangers have permission to talk to Spencer Carberry, the assistant in Toronto, and 3 teams are believed to be speaking to him: Anaheim, New York, and Washington. Now, I will say, I'm kind of surprised on the New York front. That doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to hire him or anything, but
just want to see what he's
want to see what he's about. But I thought and still kind of think that the Rangers might be better served going to get somebody who's done it before, but maybe they view it differently. But according to Friedman, 3 teams that are believed to be speaking to him, and those are the Ducks, the Rangers, and the Capitals on the Carberry front. And the Capitals one is, it makes a lot of sense.
See, this is a good early test and a good early exercise for Barry Trotz as a GM to learn a very important word. It's called tampering.
Yes.
Just do some good tampering. Find out if Carberry wants to come here or not, and then you have your decision.
Keith on the text line says, do you really think Trotz, as a former coach, is going to hire Hines assistant coaches for him? This is from Keith on the text line. Well, I hear what you're saying there, and coaches, I would assume, largely probably don't like being told who's going to be on their staff. But, especially if let's go with a hypothetical scenario of Hines coming back. If Hines is coming back next year and Barry Trotz says, hey, man, you got 1 year left on your deal, you're coming back, but we got to make a change on the staff, and Carl Taylor's got to be on your staff. I don't know that John Hines is really in a position at that point to be no, I'm not doing that. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense from his standpoint, I think, to do that.
No, you also don't know if John Hines, you don't know that John Hines isn't hey, I know how we can be better.
Yeah.
I've got a weak link here, so maybe Carl would come in. I mean, you don't know the conversations, and really, when it comes down to, I think it's a good question because, like you said, coaches hate that stuff. But you know what? Mike Vrabel used to be a player who got traded, and he got was basically on the cutting line when he's with the Steelers, and he cuts players all the time. I mean,
right.
Like once you're in the new job, you just have to do the job the way it has to be done, and sometimes that means telling people who work for you what to do.
Well, and look, I don't know specifically. Let's say everything else stayed the same, but it was Carl Taylor coming in and he was replacing an assistant coach. I don't know specifically who he would be replacing, but my guess is it would probably be Dan Lambert, given the fact that he's been here the longest and the power play wasn't very good last year. And also, you got to remember, Dan Lambert was hired as an assistant coach before John Hines even got there. He was a part of Peter Laviolette's staff. He was hired in June of 2019. And John Hines wasn't here until 2020. So Dan Lambert is not really even a John Hines guy at that point.
Right. Yeah, that would make the most sense. Wow, you're firing everybody today.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there that there's a lot of smoke out there right now, and I wonder what that could look like for the Predators. Got a text that says, just now tuning in, was just wondering if y'all talked about Stillman, talking about people who are watching the Admirals right now. We have discussed it. Yes, we have discussed that. Somebody wanted the over-under on the Admirals tonight from you, Joe.
Yeah, I put 6.5. To Jared's point earlier, I was ripping the same thing. Why is everybody just yelling at Jared? Yell at me too.
Do you buy into his theory that less people like him than like you?
Yes.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025.
Jared is right again.
1025. The takes just keep coming. Coming up next, it's time for the Rob Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45. Make sure you join us here at 1025 The Game for the second annual Celebrity Golf Tournament, Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament, presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls, coming up on June the 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes as well. You can sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game.
We are your home for every big pass.
Chase Elliott will pick up the stage 1 win.
Big wreck.
Joey Logano gets turned. He's hard into the inside wall.
And big win.
Kyle Busch has won here at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Catch every lap of NASCAR on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
When looking for quality adult recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Midstate Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they are one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Summer registration is now open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of adult sports offerings, check out midstatesports.com. It's no debate. Play Midstate.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
From the executive producers of Little Fires Everywhere, The Morning Show, and Big Little Lies.
What would I tell my 22-year-old self?
Starring Emmy Award nominee Katherine Hahn.
What does it mean to heal, to move on?
Comes a big look.
Maybe we end up where we're supposed to be.
At the little things.
Healing is doing the impossible thing every single day.
Tiny Beautiful Things. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Great, it's yours. See you then.
Nathan's Tiki-themed bar is swimming in end-of-year party bookings.
Where can I find that many servers? They want headlamps? And I'm gonna need to find a band.
He needs caterers to navigate the rising tide.
No, Mario, not your cousin's cover band.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Yo, guys, a wrister. Score!
The Predators of tomorrow continue in the AHL playoffs with Game 4. Admirals and Stars starts at 6, then check out Game 1 of the Western Conference Final as the Dallas Stars head to Vegas.
On your home for Smashville, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
Another thing, stop playing us, man. We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already picked the Packers over us. Stop playing with us. That's all I gotta say, man. Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug.
What an interview that was. The Jamal Williams action there.
My favorite post-game interview, I think, quite literally ever.
I was very upset during that time when that interview was taking place after they had beaten the Packers in the season finale there with a chance to go to the playoffs. But I will say, it's pretty difficult to not like Jamal Williams. He is a former Packer. And now
he is.
Now he's a Saint. Titans will be seeing him week 1 coming up. But he's kind of a strange guy, but he's kind of awesome at the same time.
He was amazing in Hard Knocks.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Personality, a post-game interview like that when it's like we won the Super Bowl, but you're still not going to the playoffs, but they beat the Packers to not let the Packers go to the playoffs.
He was in tears to start that interview, crying, and then he just totally switched. It's like, this is all dog here, man.
He is incredible.
Shout out to Jamal Williams. It's time for the Rob Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45, either the Rob Rant, the Rex Rant, or the Red Rant here on the program. And I got to say, today it's a different rant about our friends that work in the drive-thru. And again, I've said this before. I typically try to treat people who are working in the food service industry with the utmost respect. Number one, it's the right thing to do. Number two, I have seen the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds in it. And if you've ever seen the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds in it, you know that don't be messing with people who mess with your food. By the way, Joe Rexrode, 2 minutes into the segment, decided to come back. So good to have you back, Joe, on the program here today.
Yeah, you missed an incredible Rob Rant intro.
So confused. Did we not run any commercials? Have I just lost track
You were
of
gone
time?
for 6 minutes, but yes.
You missed Jared's Admirals commercial.
Yes.
And that's not a lie.
Anyway, welcome back to the program, Joe. Anyway, so
Can you redo it for me, please?
I cannot. My rant today is against people in the food service industry, and I was telling people, Joe, I treat people most of the time in the industry with respect, and I did not disrespect anybody in this situation either. I'm just a little bit flabbergasted by a couple of incidents that have happened to me a couple of times in a row. Now, number one, the rant probably needs to be against myself for going to fast food drive-thrus as much as I have gone this past week. It's a problem that I need to work on, especially as I get older, to probably not eat fast food as much as I do. So that's a personal rant that I'll get to myself on a little bit later. But the last 2 times that I've gone through a fast food drive-thru, and they have been at 2 different establishments in 2 different locations in 2 different cities. So I get up to the speaker, and it's like, hey, I'm ready to take your order. Take your order whenever you're ready. So I go through my little spiel of reciting the order that I have in the speaker. And then by the time I get done with it, they come back and say, hey, yeah, sorry, I didn't hear any of that. Can you try it again? I'm like, well, if you're ready to take the order, take the order. What do you mean? Don't tell me you're ready to take the order if you're not actually ready to take the order. And the last 2 times, Joe, that I've gone through the drive-thru, I have started the order. I've even paused and given them enough time to hit whatever button they need to hit, continued on with the order, and then they come back and say, hey, yeah, sorry, I didn't get any of that. Can you tell me again what's going on there? I'm like, don't tell me that you're ready to take the order if you're in fact not ready to take the order. It's a very simple thing. I get it. You're working through the drive-thru. You're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. I've done it before. It's not fun. I get it. All that stuff. But don't tell me you're ready to take the order if then you're not going to listen to a single thing I say after you tell me that.
I don't know that that's ever happened.
Oh, my gosh. It's happened twice in a row.
That's crazy. I mean, it probably has happened to me because I've gone through roughly 8,579,243 drive-thrus in my life. But, I mean, it's funny because actually we went through one this week and got a long wait to be able to take the order, right? Which is, it can be frustrating. We were trying to get to the movie. So it was like, come on. And there was like one car ahead of us. I was like, I didn't understand why it was on, but still it was like, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I can't recall someone with the go ahead and then, huh?
Well, it's one thing if they couldn't hear me, but that's not what it was. It was hey, right. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to anything you just said. Can you repeat the order, please? And like I said, I get it. There's 1,000 things going on in there. I understand all that, but it's like, if you're not ready to take the order, it's okay. Just tell me, hey, I'll be with you in a minute. I'm doing something right now. I'm not ready to take the order. The last 2 times I've gone through it, it's, order when you're ready, and then I order. Sorry, I didn't hear a single thing you just said. Can you do it again? I'm like, okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Twice in a week. That's amazing. That might be, that might be a message, man.
It probably is a message.
What kind of food are we talking here? Like how, like give us an idea. You can either say the place or you can just talk about like the food items.
I mean, one was an Arby's and the other was a Wendy's. So there you go.
I was going to say, if it's T-Bell, you might need to I think I've said on this program that, one big tenet of our marriage is that one of us must talk the other out of Taco Bell whenever it is brought up. For the most part, it's worked, but it doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't work with me. I'm there a lot. That's really probably the crux of this is I go to fast food restaurants way too much. And as I advance into my elderly age like you, I'm probably going to have to stop doing that as much.
Well, you'd think.
Joe's been to 20,552 or whatever that number you threw out there.
I mean, you would think that someone might stop going through drive-thrus at some point in their life, wouldn't you? But, I don't think I've had your issue.
Again, I have
wild.
I have the utmost respect for these people. I really do. And again, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't yell at him or anything. I was just, internally thinking, why are you asking me to go ahead with the order if you're not, in fact, ready for me to go ahead with the order? Just tell me to wait. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes coming back with, okay, did you say this? It's like, no, I said this.
Sure.
Actually, I appreciate that because then it's a lot better than just hearing wrong and giving your order. Because I think that's the universal rant about drive-thrus is that they get your order wrong, right? It's like Joe Pesci screaming about that in one of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Or when they can't hear you,
who knows that?
And they can't hear you and you have to scream. But I always feel so bad for screaming because I'm like, I'm not screaming at you. I just want to make sure that you hear it because you can't hear it.
Yes.
Or I have another one quickly. When you're riding in a car with somebody and they're in the driver's seat and they're like, no, just order yourself. So then me as a passenger princess, I got to lean over to the window and be like, iced coffee, extra large.
I do that a lot.
Yada. So there was my little quick one in there.
Well, since we're on this topic, man, let me tell you something. When we get into, okay, we're going to pull off the exit. Which one are we going to? Okay, well, let's all argue. Oh, okay, we're going to go to this one. And then people aren't ready to give their order.
Oh.
What do you want? What?
Right.
What? You don't know what your order is?
By the way, got a lot of people on the text line asking you, like, are we sure it's not a pre-recorded message? And I've experienced those. Yes, these were not. These were the same people talking to me the first time as they were talking to me the second time. So no pre-recorded messages before.
And even if it is, I mean, there's a button for it, right? Like you don't do it unless you're ready.
I would think so. Jason in Clarksville says, why is Robby so angry this week? Have I been extra spicy this week, Joe? What do you think?
You've been ranting a bit this week, I must say. But you know what? It's good to get it out. Better out than in.
That's right.
Maybe it's the hangriness because of the drive-thru.
Somebody did say I was hangry. I mean, maybe so.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hangry is a very real thing. With some people more than others.
Joel on the text line says, Sonic has an app you can order from and then just pick it up. Joe should know this as a Nolansville resident. This is from Joel on the text line.
Well, believe me, I've been to that establishment about 10 million times. I personally do not like the app. I'm just, you know what? Let me talk to a person, okay? Like, let me talk to a person. When I'm at an airport, I just want to be able to hand someone here, ring it up. I don't want to do the self-checkout thing. Like, I want more people as opposed to machines. Remember, the machines are taking over, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you read about this AI stuff?
I have. It terrifies me.
Do you have your Snapchat AI friend? That's terrifying.
I don't do that stuff now.
That's terrifying.
I refuse.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds awful.
They make movies about this stuff. All this AI stuff. Pretty soon we're going to get taken over by somebody.
You can ask it whatever you want.
You mean the Terminator?
Yes, the Terminator is exactly what I mean.
It's kind of useful, though. I asked my AI friend on Snapchat if they could make me an entire workout plan Monday through Friday, cardio, weights, and also a meal plan with this calories. In 5 seconds, I kid you guys not, in 5 seconds, I had about 10 paragraphs of everything I wanted. And then I got a little freaked out. But you could use it for good.
Yeah, 5 seconds is what it's going to take to kill all of us at one point, too, when we keep doing all this stuff. It'll be fun.
By the way, Dustin in Hopkinsville is a very long message about you being drunk and something. I'll read it during the break, but I don't know if we can get to it right now.
Okay. Robert in Nashville is mad at us for now being they're craving Taco Bell. Thanks, guys. Taco Bell craving at 7:55 in the morning is a strong one there, Robert. They do have breakfast.
If you go there, always ask if they have the beef Mexi Melt. It's like a deep cut that they don't have at most of them, but it is by far the greatest food item ever in that restaurant's history. So, and they never should have gotten rid of it.
I'm trying to decide today, like once we get done with the program here, should I go through another establishment and see if this time the order goes smoothly and we're 1 for 1 on the attempt?
No.
Just stay away?
I'm for it. I say do it.
Okay. Let's see what happens. 615-737-1025, our phone number. This has been the Rob Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
All the big plays.
For the win! Yes! Vanderbilt wins it!
All the big stories.
Quarterback carousel, what the Titans decide to do at the quarterback position.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
10% chance of making the playoffs.
Checkered flag is in the
team
air.
with incredible talent.
Every team in the league.
The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound. The sound of NASCAR.
Start your engine!
The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets for the triple header weekend, including the Ally 400, Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200 today.
Hi, this is Jamie from Souls for Souls. I hope you can join us on June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide shoes to students experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text The Game at 615-737-1025.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-725-0565 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-725-0565 now. Again, 800-725-0565. That's 800-725-0565.
Finally, baseball is back. Swing into the season with tickets to the action. Plus, with basketball and hockey heating up, now is a great time to experience a game. Vivid Seats is proud to be the official ticketing partner of ESPN. From on the glass to in the stands, Vivid Seats has great ticket prices to all the games. Every crack of the bat, every dribble down the court. Catch it all with Vivid Seats. Download the app or visit vividseats.com today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Now, your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezvik. The Denver Nuggets barely survived last night. They win 108-103, up 2-0 in the series, and it was Jamal Murray with a huge fourth quarter, scoring 23 points to lead the Nuggets to victory. Up next, they'll head to L.A. for Game 3. Switching to the hockey side of things, Matthew Tkachuk to win it for the Panthers to cap the quadruple overtime. 3-2, the sixth longest game in NHL history. Florida Panthers up 1-0 in the series. Tim Hasselbeck joined Caroline Willie and D. Mace yesterday to discuss the quarterback situation here in Tennessee.
So here would be my question, and you know how this works. So, like, if it's close, right? Because I think that's like the key. I think that's a key element to this. Hey, if it's close, well, how do you decide if it's close or not? How do you decipher if it's close or not? What needs to happen? There needs to be a competition, right?
Yeah.
There isn't going to be a competition.
Tonight in the West, Game 1 against the Stars and the Golden Knights. Puck drop at 7:30 p.m. This report is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezvik for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Cranks it, he scores.
On both sides of the one big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik here with you on this Friday morning. And as we do every Friday morning at 8 o'clock, we go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in the great Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter and host of Talking with TD. TD, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. How's everybody?
We're good. Appreciate you taking time to be with us, TD. We were discussing this earlier this week. Some interesting comments from Sean Murphy-Bunting and Daniel Brunskill and among others about the Titans and their approach to the offseason and the work that those guys are putting in. We saw the Titans tweet out the video of, Vrabel borderline being a psychopath on the sled out there. It was fun to watch that stuff too. What do you make of kind of the approach that we've seen from the Titans and, pushing through, getting yourself prepared for the season here and, the comments made by Alshire and Murphy-Bunting and Brunskill about maybe the different approach here in Tennessee to all that.
Yeah, and if you notice, Tannehill was in that video too, so that's a positive for them. And it's just one of those things where they're setting the tone early, and I think that's good. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of hard work. And like one of my coaches used to always say, hard work, big dividends, and that's what they're looking to cash in on. And I think when you look at Murphy Bunting and Alshire, one of the things that stood out, was how they hinted at that being different from what they've seen before. But then in addition to that, Alshire was like, I see why this team was able to play the way they did when he faced them back in 2021, and they were down to, you had Dylan Radins up there at left tackle, and then, they were down to a practice squad guy on the other side. So, it was a tough situation, but they were able to win. And I think, Murphy Bunting said it best when he said, you come to work and you're hurting when you're done, but you feel good because you feel like you accomplished something and you did what you were supposed to do.
So, TD, do you think this is business as usual here? Because obviously those guys coming from outside, so it's new to them. But do you think this is business as usual here? This is what they've done. Like you said, Alshire kind of referred to that. Or do you think this is Vrabel pivoting a little bit, changing a little bit, maybe trying to think in terms of injury prevention, be harder early, and maybe that, like, the callus is obviously a word he loves to use. I mean, how do you view that?
Yeah, that's a tough call. I think it's kind of a combination of the two. Maybe not the sleds, but they probably went hard, during off-season workouts and things like that. I just feel, it's not a coincidence that word callous is being used by multiple. You had Vrabel obviously talk about that at locker room clean out back in January, and then you hear Alshire use the word callous. You hear Daniel Brunskill use the word callous, and he even said like that he thinks that's what is more fitting for the way that the organization is, the way that they play.
TD, when the Titans made the move to bring in Charles London, we talked about it on the show. It was a really interesting move at the time, and now you've got Will Levis in there, which makes it even more interesting. And Charles London is going to be, along with others, charged with developing Will Levis as they move forward here. What do you know about Charles London to this point, and how do you put into words the importance of his role now with the Titans coming in as quarterback coach?
Yeah, when I was at the owners' meeting, I got to talk to Coach Art about him, and when I asked him about London, his eyes lit up and he smiled. And if you know Coach Art, if he likes you, that's what's going to happen. And about him, and then watching him, work with the quarterbacks and then turn around the head and hooker and say, hey, what we had right there, and bringing him along too, even though he wasn't going to play. Is very detailed as far as how he approaches things, and I think he has a good way of relating to the quarterbacks. But then on top of that, you look at with Levis and with this Titans team, even with Willis, for however long he's here, that's going to be something that Charles London is going to be a big kind of engine for their development, right? And just making sure that everything comes along, because there's a lot of draft capital invested in those too. You figure a second and third round pick, and I think he's going to be a big part of developing those players.
I didn't get to hear. Did you go off on Jared in person for his Traylon Burks is more dynamic than AJ Brown take? Please tell me you did.
He wisely avoided it. I just kind of sat back. See, I don't get the grid anymore. So. Every segment, I'll know what we're talking about next from hearing him say, coming up next, this, and this. He does a master job of teasing things. So, no, I didn't get to talk about it, but, I mean, for heaven's sake, I don't understand I'm virtually speechless when it comes to that. I may be mistaken, but there weren't many players who accelerated through the football and ran away from defenders as well as A.J. Brown in the last few years. In fact, over the first 2 years, he averaged more than anyone else in yards per catch and yards after catch. So I'm not sure where this came from, and that's no slight on Traylon Burks. And, here's the thing. Like, two players could be good and don't have to be mirror images of each other. I think really what needs to be done is let Traylon Burks be the best Traylon Burks. And if he could be the best Traylon Burks, I think he could be a guy that will make teams pay for one-on-one matchups. And I loved last year, going through and talking to the different guys about whether or not they take that personally. And man, he had a scowl on his face when I asked him that, and he was like, absolutely, because that's them thinking that their guy could cover me. Now, I will say that's similar to AJ, but, I mean, the rest of it, let's let it be.
Well, TD, to that point, obviously, Traylon Burks addressed the media earlier this week, and we know how important he has to be for the Titans this year just based on the rest of the room right now. But first off, I guess, what did you take away from what Traylon Burks had to say earlier this week, and what do you make of where he is right now from an approach standpoint, from a mindset, heading into what's going to be a very important second season for him?
I love the self-actualization. That is the thing that I love. He understood, hey, look, last year, unacceptable, right? And he understood especially how he started the year was unacceptable, and he said, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm not going to have a repeat of that. So that's something I love. But even just I like the confidence that he had. Even you look at the video that they posted, you see him out there pushing Racey McMath, pushing Kyle Phillips, and then on the sled, at the end of it, it was a relay, and he's the guy that finished it. You know what I mean? So that lets you know, hey, look, like I'm the anchor of this. This is my thing. You know what I mean? And I like that. I think the confidence was there. And then even just understanding, that he does have a major role within the offense and taking that extra time to work closely with Tim Kelly, who was apparently a mentor helping him understand the offense last year. So he was open. He revealed some things. He was confident. I think that's all a good thing.
TD, why do so many people, including a lot of people at your shop and people at my shop too, think that the Titans are going to be hot garbage next season?
Yeah, I think it's the 7-game losing streak that the year ended on, and it's Tannehill, man. Tannehill is nationally underrated. I think I firmly believe that to be the case. Now, I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or anything like that, but, I mean, if you go by quarterback, you'll probably find, 8, 9 guys, I would say. Tannehill's a solid quarterback, but he's not that guy that's going to throw for 300 yards every week. He's not that guy that's going to pass for 4,500 yards. So he doesn't draw that national attention. And then let's face the facts, man, the Titans, even when they're winning, like to the modern-day football fan, they're not the most exciting team to watch. So you combine those, they've typically become an afterthought. And even when they're winning as the number 1 seed in the AFC, they're still an afterthought. So with them having a 7-game losing streak, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yep, no question about it. Teron Davenport joins us every Friday morning at 8 o'clock here on the program. TD, awesome stuff as always. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Teron Davenport, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on the Titans. 615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. You can weigh in on our text line or our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Nashville Sounds baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Looking for an engagement ring that'll really knock her socks off? You need to be at Genesis Diamonds.
It's such a privilege at Genesis Diamonds for us to work with the world's finest designers, to be able to offer brands like Tacori and Verragio, and we're excited to be able to give you something nobody else can.
Genesis Vice President David Cooper.
The craftsmanship, the detail, the quality, the individuality is bar none better than anything else.
Genesis has been selected as an exclusive provider for every top designer from New York and California, with over 4,000 rings to choose from. And if that's not enough, they can create something that's truly one of a kind.
We can custom craft you literally anything you can imagine. We have the capabilities to realize any dream you have. Things that other stores may call new, we've been doing for 3, 4, and even 5 years already.
So don't settle for a ring with a stale design or with inferior craftsmanship. Let Genesis help you get the look, the quality, and the value you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs, voted year after year best jewelry store in Nashville.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Visit beerhousenashville.com for their live music schedule. Get a $50 gift card for half off right now at theGameNashville.com/deals while supplies last.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-725-0565 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-725-0565 now. Again, 800-725-0565. That's 800-725-0565.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We are good to go. Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Check out Nashville's best deal of the week. It's for Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is a place full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. You can enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more. Just go to theGameNashville.com/deals to get a $50 gift card for just $25 to Bavarian Beer House while supplies last. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. Thanks to TD for being with us in the last segment. The Traylon Burks part of this, beyond the he's more dynamic than A.J. Brown take that got thrown out there earlier this week. Yeah, I am interested to see exactly how much improvement have we seen. Like, I saw enough last year, Joe, where I feel good about him being a good player. Like, as long as he can stay on the field, I think he can be good. He can be a useful player. I still wonder, like, what exactly is his ceiling? Like, how good is Traylon Burks really? Is at the top of his game, is he going to be a bona fide #1 wide receiver? Could he potentially one day be an elite wide receiver? I don't know. Is he a good #2 when everything's said and done? Like, I'm not sure what exactly the ceiling looks like for Traylon Burks in this league. And I think this year he's going to have the opportunity to at least start to figure that out, because he's really the only thing they got right now in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, which is all kidding aside. And real quick, I really should have ranted at some point about the fact that Jared beat me in Jared versus Joe with the take that Traylon Burks is more dynamic than A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Somehow he still – but that was based on the Skoronski. Caroline and Jared are both adamant like he needs to play left tackle, which is a totally different topic. But to me, you need to have the best offensive line you can have. We could debate that another day. I in all seriousness, I don't know – the film room, you can watch things over and over again. I thought Traylon Burks looked really promising in that win at Green Bay. Of course, that was his breakout night, and he had some other good moments. That was a great touchdown in Philly that he got hurt on. We've definitely seen talent. I think he has number one receiver talent. But to me, that's 30. Now, my definition is you're a team's number one receiver. 32 in theory of those guys. I don't see, oh yeah, it's AJ talent. It's just a matter of staying healthy and figuring out, and boom, off he goes. I have not seen that personally. I'm also not going to sit here and say there's zero chance he could be a great player. I think he has a lot of talent, and I agree with TD. I think a lot of what he said Monday was encouraging. I understand at press conferences people can say the right things and here's what you want to hear, and I'll say it. But I think it was more than that. I think there was some real self-awareness there from Burks, and it seemed like some understanding that it wasn't just that he had bad luck last year. His approach contributed to that. So the fact that he's been here the entire time, I think that's a really good sign. So I think we're going to find out. I mean, hopefully he doesn't get hurt.
Right.
Some people are also fragile. We don't know about that for sure either. If he doesn't get hurt and he has that kind of approach, I think he's going to be good. But again, A.J. Brown is an elite receiver in the NFL. It's very, very hard to find those guys. And many, many players go in the first round with talent, with college production, with college film, who don't become elite receivers in the NFL.
Right. And, I've said this before. I think regardless of how good Treylon Burks is, whether he's great or not, the Titans still need somebody else on the outside to go along with him. Like, that's just that's what today's game is. So, you need multiple receivers to go out there and be threats. And the Titans just don't have that right now. We'll see what Kyle Phillips can do in the slot and all that stuff. But right now, outside, it's Treylon Burks, and then everybody else is just kind of a guy at that point. So regardless of how good he is or isn't, the Titans still need to upgrade the outside position opposite Treylon Burks for sure, whether that's at some point this year via trade, whether that's in the draft moving forward. I think we could all agree with that. But I do want, Treylon Burks, to me, if the Titans are going to have any hope to move the ball through the air in the passing game this year, we can talk about Chig Okonkwo, and we could talk about Josh Wiley, and, the tight end game is going to be important. But, aren't you going to have to target, Treylon Burks, 10 times a game this year? It just feels like the way that things are constructed right now, they're going to have to throw him the ball a lot this year.
Yeah, I would agree. And look, if he's what you hope, and if Chig is what you hope, and again, I'm going to stick with Kyle Phillips, I think is penciled in as a heavy snap slot guy, and he's what he looked like before he got hurt and stays healthy. Well, then at least you have, to me, you got 3 targets that you like, but even with that, unless there's someone else on the outside at receiver, one, I wonder what that means in terms of attention. I mean, Kaharski asked Burks the other day, he's like, well, you're going to be double. You're going to be doubled all year, Treylon. What do you think about that, okay? Sorry, I almost did a Kaharski question without doing the voice.
You did.
I don't know that I agree with Kaharski on that. But actually, I think it's a good thing if it's true that he gets extra attention all year, that means he's making plays. And that's where, you maybe draw someone a little bit away from the box with Derrick Henry, and someone on the other side can take advantage. The question is, do they have someone good enough to take advantage? Because Corey Davis, by the way, high pick, did not have that level of talent, as we found out pretty quickly, but still a guy good enough to really take advantage of what A.J. Brown did to the other side of the field when he was here.
Let me throw out a question to you. Let's say that's what Treylon Burks is. He's Corey Davis. He's good, but he's not great. Are Titans fans okay with that? Let's say that he stays healthy this year, and it becomes pretty clear halfway through that, yeah, he's probably not an elite guy. He's not your prototypical number 1 wide receiver like an A.J. Brown, but he's Corey Davis. Now, Corey Davis was taken number 5 overall. It's a little bit different than where Treylon Burks was taken, but you're still talking about a relatively high first-round draft pick with Treylon Burks. Are you okay with that if you're a Titans fan?
No, and I will say this. I think we've seen enough from Burks just in terms of his natural ability to think he's more talented than Corey Davis.
I would agree.
And again, and I'm not down on Corey Davis, but I think Corey Davis just had some limitations. I mean, that was just a heck of a reach of a pick by John Robinson. Good, solid player. But I do think Treylon Burks has has more upside, more talent than that. So no, I mean that's bad if that's how it turns out. He's got to be better than that. Jake in Green Bay says, I guess in Green Bay, or is it whatever GB would be? Oh, okay. Well, I was
Jake,
like, wow, we got
you now
Packers
live in
fans
Green
all
Bay.
over. Yeah, we'll put you in Green Bay.
We're
Jake.
very popular in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yes.
I mean, we should be. You're the biggest Packers homer, this side of the Mississippi.
That is true.
He says he has a crazy ceiling. Green Bay game since the game that play up the sideline against Dallas. Catch it, Philly. Truly believe he's got top 12 wide receiver potential. Look, he's made some good plays. He's got talent. He's got ability. Top 12 is go list the receivers.
Yeah, that's lofty.
But again, I'm keeping an open mind on it. I am. This idea that it's like, oh, he's A.J. Brown, just got to be healthy and play. Yeah, A.J. Brown, part 2. What? I mean, Fred says, Jared said the other day, Burks is more bendy and technical, and A.J. is more like a catch and run through you kind of guy. I can see that, but A.J. is obviously better. My argument, Jared was like, A.J. will go get a ball in a crowd better, but Burks is more dynamic. Like, the dynamic to me, okay, again, the big difference that I believe when I look at them play is that A.J. Brown's feet are extremely quick.
Yep.
A.J. Brown is really quick off the line. He's hard to press. And of course, he like TD said, he runs away from people, runs through, but he also runs away from people and scores touchdowns. And I don't see the same. So that to me is dynamic. I don't think he's as dynamic as A.J. Brown. But, another thing here is, the comparison's always going to be there because of what happened on draft night.
Yep.
And the comparison was there before the draft because there's some similarities, but they really are different players. And at some point, we got to acknowledge that too.
I can, now that you've brought up like the Green Bay part of this, I can picture like Lambeau Field sitting in the middle of the cornfield in Greenbrier up there. Greenbrier is very close to my heart. Lambeau would fit in nicely there.
I can see that.
Just going right through the neighborhood. 615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll take more of your thoughts on Treylon Burks and the Titans. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it is time for weekend winners here on the program. Two of us did not do very well last week. One of us did. We'll get into that coming up next and take a look at the matchups this weekend. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Whatever your destination in life, you can get there easier with a checking account from F&M Bank. At F&M, our checking accounts give you the tools you need to manage your money well, like our smart free checking account that's actually free. Because sometimes the basics are more than enough, making lives better by making banking easier. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose. Member FDIC.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville, with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The sports talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic and Junie Riddle for Michelle and Junie.
As long as he wants to coach there, he will be able to coach there.
I think that really did save the hope of this team.
Michelle and Junie, presented by Superbook Sports, every Saturday morning at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's time to pick some winners. We hope. Robby and Rexrode have weekend winners for you now
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week. Time for weekend winners here on Robby and Rexrode. Lots of action this weekend coming up in the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and more. We got it all covered today here on the program. A quick standings update in the competition. And it was a good week for one of us. It was a poor week for two of us. I'll start. I went 4-2 last week with no lock. And that means, Joe Rexrode, followed up a 5-0 week with a 4-2 week last week.
Oh, no.
Your boy is 9-2 in his last 11 games. He's heating up at the right time.
No pun intended.
Pretty good.
And he's referring to himself in second person right now. Michelle Knezovic, 1-5 last week with no lock.
I think that's my worst I've ever gone.
Joe Rexrode, also 1-5 with no lock last week, which means in the standings, Michelle Knezovic still in first place, 25-22 overall, 5-3 on her locks. The difference in the competition right now, good for 30 points. Robby Stanley, 27-20 overall, but 2-6 on my locks, 29 points. So a 1 point difference between Michelle and I. Joe Rexrode, 19-28, 2-6 on his locks, good for 21 points in the competition. So there's your standings update as we enter into play today. Let's begin with
Don't gamble, kids.
Yes. Let's begin with Game 2 tonight between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Celtics favored by 9 in this matchup. Michelle Knezovic, you were up first. Celtics by 9 tonight at home at TD Garden.
I think Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler thrive when they are this disrespected by this line, which they just beat Boston in Boston. It was an 8.5-point line, not a 9 line this time. I'm taking Miami plus the 9. I think the Celtics win, but it's going to be a closer game than that.
So going with the the Heat plus the 9 in this matchup. I'm going to go opposite. I just think the Celtics are going to roll the Heat tonight. The Heat did their job. They stole one on the road. I don't think they're going to play as well tonight. I think offensively they'll be a little bit more challenged tonight by Boston. So I will take the Celtics minus the 9. Joe Rexrode, Heat and Celtics coming up in Game 2. Celtics favored by 9.
Well, I should really stop having thoughts of my own on things and just decide which of your coattails I'd like to ride. I probably should go with Robby because he had a great week and Michelle had a bad week, but I'm going to go with Michelle. I think the Heat lose a close game but cover.
So going with the Heat plus the 9 tonight in Boston. Game 3 coming up between the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers. Denver has taken a 2-0 series lead. Michael Malone, their head coach, with some bold statements after the game as well, talking about the disrespect to the Denver Nuggets. Lakers favored by 5.5 coming up in Game 3, trailing 0-2 in the series. I am going to go with the Denver Nuggets, and I'm going to lock down on that one. I just think that they are better, and I don't know that they're going to outright win in Game 3, but I do feel pretty good about them covering the 5.5. So give me the Nuggets plus the 5.5. Joe Rexrode, Lakers favored by 5.5 coming up in Game 3.
So I'm just going to keep going against you despite evidence that I shouldn't, but I think the Lakers will put it away a little bit late and cover.
So going with the Lakers minus 5.5. Michelle Kanazovic, the Lakers favored by 5.5 coming up in Game 3.
Well, I'm going with Robby on this one. I love the Nuggets plus the 5.5. I think we saw last night LeBron getting tired towards the end. It's a quick turnaround again. Played a lot of basketball up until this point, so give me the Nuggets plus the 5.5.
We move to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 1 coming up tonight between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll just go straight up puck line with this one. So, Joe, who do you have winning Game 1 between Dallas and Vegas tonight?
Yeah, I think Dallas really had to spill it, obviously to get here. So I think I'm going to go. I feel pretty good about the Golden Knights in Game 1.
So going with Vegas in Game 1. Michelle Kanazovic, Dallas and Vegas tonight in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Vegas on the puck line. They're at home. Their fans are crazy. That arena is going to be packed. So give me Vegas on the puck line.
I'm going with Dallas. I'm going with the Dallas Stars. I think that Dallas, the way they play defensively and with Jake Ottinger in net, I think they have the formula to slow down Eichel and Stone in Vegas. And I don't think that Vegas is going to get as many attempts on the rush and on the counterattack as they got in that Edmonton series. So I will go with Dallas in Game 1 tonight on the road against Vegas, which means Joe Rexrode and I are complete opposites on every pick to this point. We'll see how this goes.
You should feel pretty good about that.
We move to the individual portion of the program. Michelle Kanazovic, your first individual selection.
Okay, I'm sticking in the NHL. The Panthers at the Canes again. This will be the Saturday game. The game went into quadruple overtime, almost 5 overtimes last night. The under-over is 5.5. I'm going to take the under on this one. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, and hopefully everybody has legs underneath them on Saturday. So give me the under 5.5.
That's really interesting. It's the over-under in games like that when it could go a couple of different ways. Nobody could have any energy whatsoever, and it's 1-0. Or the goalies could just be trash, and it's like 8-6. So I'm really interested to see what happens in that one. But going with the under 5.5 for the Canes and Panthers in Game 2. Joe Rexrode, your first individual selection.
It's also interesting that Michelle just called it the under-over. That threw me for a loop. So you didn't mean to take the over, right?
No, I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
It's like we're in the upside down.
Yeah, I've been in a fog all week.
Stranger Things?
Nope. I haven't seen it.
It's all right. Hey, at least there's no Titans to bet on.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. Why am I don't know. Dude. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Panthers, Canes. For some reason, I think as demoralizing as it must be for the Canes to go through all that in Game 1 at home and then lose, I think they're going to they have to have the desperation to win Game 2, and I think they're going to win Game 2. So give me the Canes on the puck line.
Okay, going with the Canes in Game 2 against the Panthers. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees today, minus 1.5 against the Cincinnati Reds. It's the Reds and it's the Yankees, and I don't trust the Reds. So I'm going the Yankees minus 1.5, and for them to hit a lot of home runs. So we'll go Yankees minus 1.5. Joe Rexrode, your second individual selection.
Yeah, I mean, I basically don't care anymore. What's the over-under on Heat Celtics?
215.5.
Wow.
Jinx, you owe me an iced coffee.
I'm going. Give me the under.
Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and make the same pick because I was doing that before he took it too. Heat and Celtics under 215.5 tonight. I don't think Miami's going to have it offensively tonight, but we'll see. Michelle Kanazovic, your second individual selection.
Okay, well, the reason we both said the number at the same time is because I am also doing the under, but I am making it my lock. I'm making that my lock, under 215.5. We all know from Caller Shot Friday, I need Jimmy Butler to have a big game and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown not to. So 215.5 under.
215.5 under. So everybody taking the under tonight between the Heat and
So the
Celtics.
over will hit.
Final score will be 170 to 167. Looking forward to it. Joe Rexrode, your final individual selection.
Well, first of all, I forgot about the lock. I don't care. I don't even want to do locks anymore either because I suck. But make the Canes my lock, please.
Okay.
Put me down for the Canes. What's the over/under on Lakers Nuggets?
223.5.
There you go.
I'll go under on that too.
Under for the Lakers and the Nuggets, 223.5. Michelle Knezvik, your final individual selection.
Okay, I'm going to go to the MLB, a little baseball. The Kansas City Royals at the one and only Chicago White Sox.
Yes.
I'm going to take the Royals plus the 1.5, but I feel like I'm required to mention I do still think the White Sox are going to win, and that will make this long drive today much more amusing and much more entertaining for me. So let's hope for that.
I'm sure there are dozens of people that are excited to watch the Royals and the White Sox take place today. Joe, are you one of those people?
Yes.
Battle Royale, baby. Well, I do enjoy watching the White Sox lose, and there's been a whole lot of that this year.
There has been a whole lot of that. I'm going to take it a step further on Carolina, Florida. Give me the Canes minus 1.5. I think they win big. I think the Canes are winning big coming up in game 2. They're very good defensively. I think they'll lock things down, and I think they'll be able to get to Bobrovsky a little bit more. I know they just had 60-some-odd shots on goal against them in 4 overtimes, but I think they will break through more in this game. So I'll go the Canes. And I'll just say the final score is 4-1, but I'll take the minus 1.5 in that matchup as well. Joe, your thoughts on your picks?
They suck, but I'm surprised then that's not your lock, you know? I mean, you made a compelling case for the Canes. What's your lock?
Nuggets plus the 5.5.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I can't change it now, but you're kind of talking me into maybe I should have made it Carolina.
No, keep that your lock. I was going to do it, but I didn't do it my lock because you did it first.
Okay. All right. We'll see. A lot of over-unders this week in the competition. I like it.
I've said this before, but the previous iteration of the morning show, I used to absolutely love whatever picks they did, and like D-Mace would only do over-unders like during football season. It was fantastic, man.
We're going over-under, baby. Hey, you got a 50-50 shot. You got a 50-50 shot, technically, I guess, on most bets, but whatever.
Yeah, in theory, that's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be. Doesn't always work out that way. 615-737-1025
Vegas
is our
knows.
phone number.
Vegas knows.
615-737-1025. We'll have more of your thoughts on the Titans, anything on the table on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robby and Rexrode for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jared Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jared Companies. For more, visit JaredCompaniesInc.com. The choice is yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Michelle Knezvik here for Superbook Sports. Bring your big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. Superbook is the most trusted name in the sports betting world. It's my official sports book, and now we have a promo code that you can use, The Game, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250, but you have to use the promo code, The Game. You heard a couple of the picks that we're making this weekend. I'll go through a couple of mine in the NBA. Miami Heat, I'm taking them plus the 9 over the Celtics. I think the Celtics win out, but I'm going to take them plus the 9. Also going to take the under 215.5. And then Denver Nuggets and Lakers game 3 tomorrow. I love the Nuggets plus the 5.5. I would lock that one down. I feel pretty confident in that one, and I think that the Nuggets could have a chance of sweeping this series. So simply visit superbook.com for terms and conditions to download the Superbook Tennessee app in app stores. Enter the promo code THEGAME, and you'll get a $250 bonus courtesy of Superbook Sports. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789.
Now that you've taken on that big job, you shouldn't have to settle for the big box. You've earned a trip to Northern Tool, and we're ready for the details. We know all about the little things that make the biggest difference. Maybe that's why they call us a problem solver's paradise. From pressure washers to power tools, pallet jacks to push carts, Northern Tool and Equipment carries the brands you depend on, like North Star, DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Strongway. We're made for this. Come see us in store or shop online at northerntool.com.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza is my favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, comfort in cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
Tonight, Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final between my beloved Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. Coverage on 94.9 The Fan begins after Sounds Baseball.
Your home for the NBA playoffs
is 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, helping home buyers and sellers in Middle Tennessee for 20 years. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Friday morning. Gary on the text line says, was really hoping Joe would take the over in the Milwaukee Admirals game. Feels like a big missed opportunity from you, Joe.
Duh.
No, I totally blew it. Actually, can I change? Is there a line on the Admirals and the Texas minor league cow pies or whatever the hell they're playing?
They're the Stars, but yeah.
Whoopie pies.
You just say whoopie pies?
Sure.
Yeah.
What, is there a line?
I could see if I could find one for you real quick.
All right, I don't need the line. Give me the cow pies. Make it my lock. You can take out my lock. I want that as my lock. Thank you.
The cow pies.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, well, I will tell you that 1 year in Gus Macker. We've talked about Gus Macker on the show, right?
Yeah.
For those of you out there who celebrate and play, salute to you. Yes, I played with some buddies from Climax, Michigan. We haven't talked about Climax, Michigan on this show much. We were the Climax Cow Pies.
I got a line for you. Milwaukee Admirals favored by 1.5 against the Texas Stars. -112 on the money line. Over under is 6 on the dot between the Admirals and the Stars. Your thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, give me the 1.5. Make it my lock. I'll take the 1.5.
Thank you.
Guaranteed.
Just in case the Admirals shock the world and thrill the entire city of Nashville with a playoff victory.
I would just like to see more hate directed your way today than Stillman. That's all I'm asking for today. Just even it out a little bit. Get after Rexrode.
I agree. I think people are a little too mean to Jared and a little too nice to me.
Todd from Jacksonville.
I'm a big boy.
Todd from Jacksonville on Twitter has attached a photo of Andre the Giant and says, "This is how I feel about the Titans." And it's a quote from Andre the Giant discussing Hulk Hogan. Quote, "I don't like to speak badly of people. I've grown up thinking and being told that if you can't say something nice about someone, you shouldn't say it at all. But I must break that rule in this case because I hate Hulk Hogan very much. He's a big, ugly goon, and I want to squash his face." That's how Todd from Jacksonville feels about the Tennessee Titans. That rivalry has been reborn, baby.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. It's good to hear from Todd, by the way. I imagine we'll hear a lot from him this next year. Todd, who's more unrealistic about their team's greatness, Todd or Indy Ben?
Well, Indy Ben.
Indy Ben for sure. Todd had the all-time take of after a Week 1 victory by Gardner Minshew over Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts a few years ago. Who needs Trevor Lawrence? Got Gardner Minshew, baby.
Don't you think that's sort of that sort of gives them a shot against Indy Ben? I feel like it does.
It's good.
Indy Ben's more consistently
for sure. Like,
off the grid. But...
Todd's had one bad take.
Okay.
Indy Ben
Fine.
keeps them coming.
He keeps them coming. But we enjoy both of them on the program here.
We
do. It's going to be, look, we talked about it with Jared. Maybe there's a chance that final game of the year between the Titans and the Jags is the same thing it was last year, and it decides the division. Like, if you're a Titans fan, when you sign up for that right now, I would.
My gosh, yes. Talking about one game at home,
yeah,
to get a home playoff game. Oh, you absolutely sign up for that. Because right now I've got Jags 11-6, Titans 9-8, and I think most people who cover the NFL would. Well, I don't know about the Jags. They would definitely think that Titans pick is optimistic. And I'm sure Jared has them going 14-3, but
he did say he has 11 wins. He was looking at 11 wins, and he was ashamed to admit it.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Keith, on the text line, who just says, "Screw you, Rex." That's what I'm asking for. Let's go. Bring some of that hate that you guys all send toward Jared and send it my way.
I will say we need to check out Twitter right now. Greg with an amazing graphic of you and Jared on WHMR The Homer.
Yes.
With an Admirals and Vanderbilt graphic next to your heads.
Nice, Greg. Yeah, I mean, well, you guys tell me. If you did a 3 or 4 hour show every day with Jared, how long would you retain your sanity?
3 days.
What's the over-under on sanity retention? 3 days?
3 days.
So, okay, like 2.5, we'll set it at 2.5, 3.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yours is for sure under. Like, I think yours would be gone by hour 2.
Yeah, like, it'd be fun kind of to be like, because there are times if you listen, I want to be there at times to be like, dude, well, hold on. Whoa, what did you just say? Like I would like that power. But yeah, to actually, and then the mic hogging he does. Oh, Michelle, what's your answer?
Honestly, I think one of my secret talents is being able to listen or have a conversation with somebody. But if I don't agree,
who makes no sense.
If I don't agree or something is just going really off the rails, I think I can just do a good job of not letting it get me mad. And I know that, Joe, that's something that you let him affect your emotions.
You do.
And that's where it's like, when you're picking on a younger sibling or something, what can get under their skin. And what can get them mad, but if you don't show a reaction, I think that's one of my good skills. Like my brother would used to point his head towards my forehead and be like, "I'm not touching you." I wouldn't let it bother me for hours. So I actually think I'd be okay.
So an unlimited amount of time for Michelle to do a show with.
Well, that's unlimited is aggressive, but I think I could do a week.
What I'm hearing here is Michelle campaigning to be on a show with Jared.
Yeah, that is not what's happening.
Right?
Yeah. Sorry, Chase.
You're out, Chase.
I'm here for it. I mean, look, if we can't have Stilly and Pauly, Stilly and Michelle Perry could also be very good. Shane in the Burrow used to like me and doesn't anymore because of my Admirals take 2. That's fine.
I'm just saying, you two have made a lot of people mad. So we talked about Hines earlier. Like we're getting close, Joe, right? I mean, it's May the 19th. And we're a few weeks away from June by my Hendersonville High School math there. And that's what month the draft is in. So, you probably need to have some of this stuff figured out if you're Barry Trotz or some of these other jobs that are open around the league. Like, I would imagine we're getting pretty close to coaching movement in the NHL starting to take place. So, I feel like we're close to a decision, an announcement, something, one way or the other on the Predators front pretty soon.
Like I said, 6 minutes press release. As soon as the show ends, make sure that we can't speak about it on the program. It'll come out. No, you're right. I mean, seriously, today, soon, very soon, you have to make a call. It's fair to them. And yeah, look, I'm with you. You're down to 1585 on Hines' back. I mean, as time goes on, it's like, what are you saying here? I do think the idea of possibly having a candidate in mind and Hines in his last year as a fallback is an option. May not make you feel great if you're Hines, but same time, if you're Hines, you're trying to stay in the league.
Yep.
I mean, that's where he is right now in his career. So you take it if that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated to see what that looks like. And then, obviously we've talked about Carberry a lot as a target. And we brought it up. Friedman tweeted last night that Anaheim, Washington, and the New York Rangers are believed to have requested permission to speak with him. Nothing about the Predators on that front. So, like, if Barry Trotz does have somebody in mind and it's not Spencer Carberry, who is it at that point? And is that within the organization or is that outside of the organization? I don't know.
It's a great question. Certainly the Carberry connection is an obvious one, and props to Vingan for calling that out first from anybody I saw. But I think Carberry clearly is a guy of high interest. If you're someone like him and you're looking at the Preds, you probably do like the idea. I would imagine. I mean, everybody likes Barry Trotz, so the idea of working for Barry Trotz is probably appealing. Nashville is appealing. This team roster situation, how appealing is that relative to some of the other opportunities he may have?
By the way, something else to keep an eye on the coaching search front here. And when I hear this piece of news come across and I see the name of it, I immediately start to think New York Rangers, but I could be wrong. And Darren Dreger just put this out there. Sources say NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman will meet with veteran coach Joel Quenneville as soon as the season ends to review his status. Now, that's a heck of a risk there. Like, if let's say if you're the Rangers or anybody else, you want Joel Quenneville to be your coach. Well, the season ending is June after the Cup Final's over. So, like, you're talking about the Cup Final being over, the draft coming, and free agency all within like a 2-week span. My guess is you're probably not waiting on that when you don't know that. Like, Gary Bettman may walk away from that from Joel Quenneville and be like, yeah, he's not coaching next year. So it feels like the Quenneville part of this may be out if you're one of those other teams with an opening right now.
Yeah, good call. Real quick on the text line, do all the people that talk bleep about Jared realize he's the top dog at 102.5? Annoying or not, he's the number one guy on the station.
Ooh, boy.
Which Jared relative just texted that? Just admit it.
Yeah.
Is that actually
how many
Jared
burners
himself?
he got?
I'm gonna put this number in my phone. Just put down Jared Burner.
Good. Got a lot of those in your phone so far.
He's got a lot of burners, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Joe, Adam Vingan, going to be with you all week next week. I am heading to the beach next week, so looking forward to that.
Nice.
But Vingan going to be in, so looking forward to that.
Rexrode Vingan we'll get into, and I promise you, we will make fun of Duke basketball next week.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yay!
That does it for us today on the program. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Chase and Michelle up next. This is 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
Are you going to pay $20.2 million for someone who's